Failed to update settings for YouTube.
Oh, Jesus.
The fuck? Yo, can you check if I'm streaming real quick?
Let me check. It says upcoming. Doesn't say you are. So I don't know if it's gonna start in a minute or what.
No. What the fuck?
Innovation. Where is Pulverine? What up, skids? Hello.
I'm so confused.
Hey, skids, I'm looking forward to Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm hoping there's a lot of cry moments in there.
Okay, now it should work. I think. Check if I'm streaming right now.
Alright, let me see. It's got the thumbnail. You got that going.
What the fuck?
I'm refreshing to see if it works. What is up, Synth?
I don't know why it's being like this.
Oh, okay. Oh, now you are live. You are live now. Yo, what the fuck is that lighting? That gave me whiplash. What the hell?
I know, bro, it's terrible.
What the fuck?
Okay, it's up now. It's good.
Dude, what the hell? This almost looks like Comic Legends Room. What the fuck? I need to check out more of the X-Men movies before Deadpool 3. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we rewatched the X-Men, Wolverine, and Deadpool movies. Most of them, at least. Great for the most part. Need a disagreement day for the SpongeBob SquarePants movie.
Someone said, "How's your wife?" I don't know, man. Not rocking with the red lights. This is innovation. Dude, my lighting looks terrible. I got a fucking shitty curtain.
So far, I've only seen the 2 Deadpool movies. Great choices. Deadpool and Deadpool 2. One of the best start 1 and 2s of a trilogy.
Nah, absolutely trash.
I've seen people say that Deadpool 2 like messes with canon or whatever, but you know, I feel like the ending is supposed to be set up for the next one. So we'll see if it actually breaks canon or if they'll get into it. I think it'll be interesting. Where he goes through time and shit.
How does that break canon?
I don't know. People just claim so. Like maybe they will find holes or whatever, but all I'm gonna say to them is wait for the next one.
I don't know, it's weird.
Yeah. We have talked about the X-Men movies. Obviously Black Panther 1 and 2 talk will be expected as well.
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. I watched it recently for the first time. 7 out of 10. I thought it was pretty good.
Nah, he's wrong. It's a 9.
But yeah, I've seen people say it's bad. And it seems like a pretty small minority, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. But yeah, from what I've seen, the points haven't been good for the most part. Is Deadpool 3 gonna be part of the MCU? Well, kind of. Obviously, it's gonna pick up after Deadpool 2, but it seems the MCU stuff is like, it has to do with the TVA and how variants meet up. So it's an MCU movie in the sense of it being...
I heard the
multiverse.
new trailer was very revealing.
Yeah, I don't know why they revealed so much shit in that trailer. I mean, maybe they just have more? Possibly. But I think you probably want to keep that hidden. But whatever. Fine. Oh yeah, and the boys finale. I'd say it's probably the weakest finale of all of the boys finales, but yeah, I guess it's decent. Middle of the road, whatever. Yeah. I think there was a lot to be desired from the boys season 4's ending. And to be fair, it could just be by design, where they want you to wait to season 5 for some of this stuff, which, you know, that's fine. I'll see at the time. One thing I definitively have a big problem with, though, is that, Starlight and Huey, their whole, like, when they reunite after everything that happened, I thought the conversation's fine enough, in the sense of, I get why she would be upset in the moment, but there gets to a point where she would rationalize what actually happened, and then apologize for how she reacted, and that didn't happen. So I found that weird.
The thing I said about it is, like, I get what they were doing after, like, because she kind of apologized or forgave him after Huey gave his whole speech about his arc this season, and it just comes off as, like, not really apologetic.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay.
We need a little more. But otherwise, I'm very much
Season 1
happy
and
with
2.
Butcher and what they did with him.
Someone said season 1 and 2 were the best. No, they weren't. I mean, season 1 is up there with the best, but season 3 is better than season 2.
Yeah. For some people, it seemed like Critical Drinker was gonna be right, but he ended up speaking a dumb video. Who would have thought? I mean, yeah, pretty much.
Alright.
Taking a disagreement? Alright. Speed Boy. What's
You
the
were on
disagreement
the
to us
line.
like?
So, I'm going back on the boys episode about when Webweaver was introduced, technically.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of agreeing with the author that they kind of took it too far with what they did to Huey.
In what sense?
Like what they do to him, like with the whole Batcave parody of like being a I guess a sex dungeon, I'm guessing.
Okay.
I also feel like Webweaver was completely wasted of a character. They could have done a whole lot more with him than just make him what they did in the show.
Why?
Webweaver's not a central character.
Well, he is a parody of Spider-Man, and they could have gone with like him maybe ignoring like with whole great power comes great responsibility in a different way other than what they did in the show.
He's a throwaway character. I don't see why, if they didn't want to do that, it's not even. Yeah, I just don't see why they need to do that.
Again, I know what they were trying to make sure that Huey would just say he's not okay, but I feel like the way they did it was just really. I know it's supposed to be disturbing, but it was just way too far, in my opinion.
Why is that?
Sorry. I have some social anxiety. Trying to
That's okay.
think why. I guess I just didn't really like it. I didn't like how they treated Huey, even though it was supposed to be a way for him to break down in the final scene.
Right, but like, what would the core issue be in how they treated him? Like, what is something the show did that was like problematic in the writing?
It's more of the act. Yeah, I suck at these.
It's okay.
Second time trying to do this, and I realize I'm not really great at this. Sorry to waste your time. I just wanted to tell you my opinion about.
No
like,
worries. Just for
again,
next time, if
I
you
just
want to
felt-
like maybe have notes or something, so you like feel more prepared on what you want to talk about. I think it'll help with trying to find what you want to say. But yeah, thank you for coming on. We'll get to the next caller.
Yeah, you two are doing a great job, by the way. And thank you, Colin, for letting me advertise my thing. But
Alright,
Alright, yeah, see you later.
you're welcome.
see ya.
Thanks for coming on.
Snot
Alright,
Collector's next. Hello, Snot Collect. You're on the line. What's the disagreement to tell us what?
How are we doing today?
Good.
How are you?
Good.
You want to raise your volume a little bit? You're a little quiet.
Oh, I can. I'm on a Nokia smartphone right now. Sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Maybe you can try like going closer to the mic if possible, or just speaking louder.
Oh yeah, we got you, buddy.
Jaden, we're live. Don't say
Wow.
anything stupid.
Can
So
you
I
guys
can't-
hear me?
Hold on, Jaden.
What's going on, chat? What are we doing?
We're just starting now.
Still good?
Alright, what's your disagreement, Snot Collector?
I disagree with. I don't know. What are we disagreeing on?
Oh my god, bro.
If you don't have a disagreement, then don't hop in. Hello, Stark Star. You're on the line. What's the disagreement? Tell us why.
All right. Okay, now I'm officially ready. Now, okay. You know how you complained about like how T'Chaka didn't cancel the fight day thing?
Yeah.
Well, I still think he could have A, was just in the process of doing it, or B, just still simply continued because he doesn't let his age stop him from like participating in combat. So
Why isn't he the Black Panther then? By that logic.
well, I suppose he lets T'Challa have it as like a superhero alias. Well,
Right, but you said that he doesn't give up on combat, right? So if that was the case, you'd think he would still be the Black Panther.
oh,
I think the implication here is that he's too old to keep operating as the Black Panther. So obviously T'Challa has to take up that role. But then that just, again, brings up the fact that he knows that whether you're the best suited to fight or the best suited to lead, those are two different things. He knows this, but he kept the system. And yeah, you could say he was in the process of changing it, but he would have, if he was already thinking of challenging their legacy because of Age of Ultron, that was a year ago. So what's taken him so long?
Well, people can like take a long time to do something. Like,
Why though, in this context?
because of all of his responsibilities as king.
So, like, changing the laws that don't fit their nation.
Well, besides that, like, no trade disputes, poverty.
They don't have to deal with that right now. They don't do that.
Oh,
Yeah, there's no trade
right.
disputes at all, and it's not like they don't have time off to do anything.
Fair point. Probably should.
I mean, it's just as simple as, hey, we're writing this in the law. We're changing how this works. It's like that shouldn't take a day.
Well, this is just using, like, conjecture. Maybe he wasn't being honest about changing it, and just said he was, but isn't actually gonna do it.
That's not in the film. That's headcanon at that point.
Well, there's nothing wrong with a little headcanon now and then.
Well, if you want to justify the writing of a film, you need like some kind of in-text proof. You can't just write something to justify. Like, for example, if I were to say, the Suicide Squad and Kill the Justice League, they have the Speed Force now. After they killed the Flash, the Speed Force just transferred itself into them. It's like, that wouldn't really work to justify how they beat Green Lantern or Superman.
Well, that's an impossible scenario. What I have is...
Well, I'm saying if you headcanon in a detail that makes it possible, then, like, you understand how like, that really doesn't work.
Let me put it simpler. If you want to headcanon it so that you like the movie more, that's fine. That's for you subjectively, that's fine. But you can't use that to justify the writing of the movie.
Because, like, writing... They don't make movies for people to headcanon. They make movies to tell stories.
If you make an interpretation of something, you need something that backs up that interpretation.
Oh, okay.
If I say this character has a no-kill rule, because he doesn't kill anyone throughout the movie, I would use that as my justification.
Okay. You guys got me there. I'll have to, like, think about that more later. But moving on, about the whole, like, him using... not using those discs to disable those cars in Civil War and later, still think that's just, human error. Like, he's not a machine. So, yeah.
Yeah, but he used it by instinct in this movie, and he's still not a machine in this movie.
Well, maybe just decide to switch methods. Just use his claws.
There's absolutely no reason for that.
Oh, okay. I'll also think about that one more as well. So, okay, let's see here. And about Killmonger's death, can you tell me that your criticism with that again? It's like,
Killmonger's his death in the final fight?
Yeah.
Well, it's just simply, why does T'Challa not try to save him straight away?
Well, maybe that could be done out of his, like, bias, because of, like, maybe he just doesn't deserve it because of all the terrible things he's done.
That's not what T'Challa believed. He didn't believe his dad deserved it, and his dad was gonna do similar things.
Right. Shit.
He didn't believe Zemo deserved it.
Yeah.
I see. Oversight on my part. I apologize. But, well, maybe he decided to let like Eric decide on his fate. Like,
I don't think that's what he would do, because with Zemo, he was gonna kill himself, but he saved Zemo.
right, another oversight on my part. Right. Okay, all of this, I probably need to like think back more. So, okay, well, that's all I got. Got for now. So.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on.
Okay, take care.
Take care. We'll do Fart God next. I'll disconnect. Alright, I'll get Fart God in here since you're not doing it. There we go. Fart God, you're on the line. What's the disagreement, and tell us why?
Okay, so I disagree that Namor is a perfect villain. I think he's the best, to be honest.
Okay.
Alright.
What's the disagreement? And try to speak up a little bit. I think your volume's a little low.
Oh my bad. Sorry, I'm giggling because my funny bone was tickled. Anyways, I think the disagreement, sorry, I have stage fright. That I think Namor is awesome sauce. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we heard you
Sorry
on
about
that.
that.
So what is the disagreement with the criticism? Do you think his plan was smart in the movie?
Yes, 100 IQ, million IQ actually. What am I saying?
Okay,
I think that
so
was
Mike.
Sparks' plan
All right,
versus
so then
Protection.
question number one: why does he enter Wakanda, threatening to attack their nation if they don't send a scientist to their death to him? What's the logic behind that plan? When Wakanda has connections to the Avengers, and his presence, even being known, is considered a threat to him.
So basically, sorry. So basically,
What are you, the Joker?
Do we have a disagreement or a laughter?
Sorry about that. Sorry, it will tickle my anus. So basically, the logic behind that is that well, sorry about that.
Alright, bro.
We need a disagreement here. We don't need a stand-up routine.
Indeed. Oh, wait, no, never mind. Hold on. Cornier.
Cornier, you're on the line again. What's the disagreement, and tell us why?
Cornier.
Cornier, you're on the line. What is the disagreement, and tell us why? There we go, he unmuted. Cornier, you're on the line. You're on the line. You're on the line. Ooh, Jesus. Alright, just bring Indeed in here. Hello.
Indeed.
What's the disagreement, and tell us why?
Look who's back, boys. It's me.
Hello, welcome back. What's the disagreement, and tell us why?
I don't think this is gonna be a very big disagreement, but I think season 4 is by far the most shit season of the boys. Like, just generally, you know.
Why would you
say
say
why?
that?
That's something we can all agree on. Especially
No.
these last few episodes. Like, you can say everything up to like episode 4 is okay by general standards, but I don't understand the whole plot they're going for. I think it's just like this entire thing where it's just, well, like other people say on Twitter, barely disguised fetishes.
What?
You know, in episode 6, the whole point of that was to spy on that governor's name and Homelander to see what they're up to, and it's in Tech Knight's mansion, and like Huey's disguised as a green Spider-Man, and he pretty much gets like fucking raped for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
No reason for that. It's just fucking weird. Like there's no like big plot significance.
It's a
At all.
character significance for Huey.
It's not really. He doesn't
It
get, like,
is.
changed by it.
He does. He literally does at the end of the episode. It's something that forced them into changing.
But it doesn't continue on from that. It just
What?
doesn't.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking from episode 6 to
Yeah.
episode 8. Nothing else changes from Huey.
Because his character developed, and what? First of all, he comes to a complete conclusion in episode 8. What are you talking about?
What complete conclusion that he escapes with
His full
girlfriend?
lesson of forgiveness. He's gonna stop holding everyone accountable for things because that's not healthy for him. A-Train, his mom.
How does that have to do with him getting raped?
Well, it's about him like letting
Oh
go
my
of
God,
the hatred in his life, right?
Well, it's
It's
not
about
just
going in with a
about
more
that.
positive
It's
mindset.
the rape thing was a situation he was put in so that he could open up, because it was a breaking point for him, so that he would open up to Starlight about how he's feeling.
Well, that's all well and good, but when you have you watched the last episode? You probably have,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit, it's pretty late. I have to go to work. So, yeah, that's my whole thing. Sorry for the, short time.
Alright.
Have a good day, boys.
All right.
So,
Thank you for coming on. All right. We'll bring in Cornier.
Cornier, you're
Cornier,
here.
do we gotta work it now?
There we go.
There we go.
Yes.
All right. Awesome. You're on the
Get
line.
monetized.
What's the disagreement and tell us what?
Okay, so I saw in your description had The Boys seasons 1 through 4 were all great. I do not really know how much I disagree with that. I will just say season 4 was not great. It was like just good. And
Alrighty.
yeah, I can reiterate what I said like 2 weeks ago.
I'd
a little more
rather
clear.
not. Unless
A
you
little
can-
more-
What's something
unless
new?
you can be more
Yeah.
clear.
Yeah, a little more clearly. What I was trying to get at was that it was not as interesting as previous seasons to delve into the characters, because for I guess 2 of them, it's kind of reiterating what we already knew about them. Frenchie having a dark past, and Huey having parental issues, which it's fine to explore that, but especially when they didn't amount to much during the finale, it felt like wasted time.
Hold on, let me
Beyond
stop you right
that,
there. Let me stop you right there.
go for that. Go for it.
So just because we know that people have fucked up things in their past, that doesn't mean it was really explored properly or explored exactly the same. So I disagree with
Where
that
did they do
inherently.
it?
Like, we don't
Where
have.
did they do it improperly before?
What do you mean?
I mean, for Frenchie's
I didn't
case,
say they didn't do
we
it
had-
improperly.
saying for Frenchie's case, we already went through him having a shady past in like the first 2 seasons. There was his arc with the Domo. I can't remember her name.
You know?
Yeah, Dina. And coming to now, him having killed this one person's parents and then having a crisis of faith about it. It's all right as an arc. It explores a little more of his character, but it took half the season, and then he was shelved for 2 episodes, and then he came back at the very end to work on the virus. All that previous context doesn't really matter.
What are you talking
Well, I
about?
think it does, because remember, he literally tries to punish himself for what he did. The only reason he's with them is because he decided he opted for self-forgiveness.
Was that shown in a scene? From what I
Yeah,
remember,
that was like a
he was-
huge
he was gone.
conversation
He was
he had
gone
with,
for a little bit.
It was
Kimiko.
between him and Kimiko in episode 7.
Yeah, it was a conversation, but he just kind of showed up before that. Like he was
What?
Hold on. He was gone for 2 episodes. He showed up, helped guard the doctor doing his research on the virus.
Well, because that
Chad
was
with
because he
Kimiko
was
is
punishing
nice.
himself, right? Like, he put himself into exile.
Yeah, cool. But what does that have to do with the situation at hand?
Well, that
How-
would
how
explain
does
his
it-
What
actions.
how does it
situation
fact-
at hand?
how
It's
does-
key to his character arc. If it's about
How
his
does-
arc is about self-forgiveness, he locks him in the jail because he can't forgive himself and he wants to punish himself for it. He gets out and then he comes out and forgives himself. What do you mean? What's the relevance to it? I feel like it's right there.
Okay, I don't think you understand what I'm saying. Let me just finish. How does it factor in to the last 2 episodes? As in, how is this a part of? How did this build to the finale? Is the finale?
Well, the finale is not just
was-
his character arc. I mean, it's one of the arcs that is in the show, of course, but it's one of them that, like, I mean, in general, I'm pretty sure the show is very focused on improving from your past, and deciding whether or not you stay where you are and just punish yourself or move forward and do something greater. I think that's what we see with a lot of characters. I mean, we see that with A-Train. We see that with Huey, especially.
Literally everyone: Starlight, Butcher, Huey, Frenchie,
That's a thing.
Kimiko.
And with
That's a-
Butcher's
That
case,
is,
main
we
that
see
is
him.
of the season.
that is a theme of the show.
Well, what's interesting
Sure.
is that in Butcher's
But-
case, he's the one that doesn't grow. He's the one that continues to regress.
Yeah, I mean that's the theme of the show, but that's not not what I'm talking about.
Well, you said, how does it connect
I'm
to,
saying
like,
how does
the finale?
how does Frenchie's character arc serve the finale? Not just being content, but how does it enhance the problem they have?
What is
Well,
the question you're asking? I'm so
how would his
lost on that.
character arc enhance the problem that they have? Because his arc is supposed to
Saying how
reach
does
a resolution point, which it does in the finale.
my criticism is that we spent most of the season on disparate character arcs, which was fine for what they are, but when it came to the finale, they weren't relevant.
I don't know how they weren't relevant, because the only reason French is there is because he went through his journey. And I feel like that's something that, like, connects them as people too, does it not?
Also, hold on, when it makes the impact of him and Kimiko being split up again very impactful, because they just finally accepted, yeah, we're gonna do this thing, we're gonna make it work. There's no one better
Yeah,
than
like,
either of us for each other.
As
We
Jack
both just
Kepner
went to-
said,
hold on,
people say that all the time, and they-
Yeah,
they-
I'm not saying you're
Hold on.
okay.
They both go through their self-forgiveness arcs, and then they figure out they're, good for each other. They will work together. And then they get taken at the end of the season, which makes that so much more impactful. And the fact that Kimiko speaks now means that she broke her vow of silence after coming out of her trauma, because this is the most traumatizing thing that has ever come into her fucking life now. Like, that's so good. How is that not, like, what?
How is it relevant to the finale? Like being.
How
in
is
the
it not
conflict?
relevant to the
Hold-
finale?
Shut up.
How is it not?
Let me.
Well,
Alright,
you keep
can I
asking the
please-
same question.
Tell me.
Go ahead.
I'm not asking the same question. I'm trying to rephrase it in a way that makes sense, I guess.
Go ahead.
What I don't like about the finale is that it is centered around this assassination plot, which is a good thing, but Homelander was passive for most of it. Frenchie and Huey were present, but their previous character arcs didn't have any relevance to that conflict. Butcher's definitely was, and that was great. Those were great scenes. Let's see.
Well,
Mother's Milk, he had a pretty decent arc over the season, but I do not see how it would be different if he was not present for the previous episodes and then showed up for the finale.
okay. So
Other than the emotional investment in his arc, which I said is there. That's why I'm saying the season's good, just not great. Like I'm not saying any of this is bad. I'm just saying it's not as interesting as it was before.
Okay, well, if we look at the reason Victoria Newman is even with them in the first place, I mean, I'm pretty sure Huey outlines to them, like, his whole point about forgiveness and letting go of the past. So that's what allows them, like, he convinces them through that to bring in Victoria Newman to start trusting her. That's what he uses to try to argue his case. So I feel like that does tie into the assassination plot close enough. But also, as far as, like, if Homelander's passive
hold on. I just want to see... Why does every character's character arc need to be tied to the exact thing that's going on with the plot? Like, he's there, they can do separate things, whether his arc impacted Victoria Newman being there or not, or the assassination happening or not. Why the fuck does that matter? Why does the show need to do that? I'm so lost on this point.
The show doesn't need to do it. The problem is it did it before, and it was more interesting. And I found it to be a better experience watching.
Okay.
When did it do it before?
So how did stop. So how did Starlight's character arc in season 3 impact Soldier Boy going to the vault? How'd that impact it?
I don't remember that specifically. The answer for season 3 would be
because you can't have an answer. There is no answer. She has no impact.
Yeah, there is. Give me a second.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't remember much of Starlight's character arc. I'd have to watch it again. What I do remember is about Huey. Huey going through this season-long arc of wanting to be more like active, and protective of Starlight leads him to start taking the V. And by the end, he gives it up, which means that they had a utility plan for the whole thing, for like the whole season, and they lose it in the finale, which has relevance because now they can't like teleport in and out. It's not an exit strategy. MM had a whole arc trying to deal with his past with Soldier Boy, and Soldier Boy being present for the finale is how that ties in. Because he's part of the conflict.
Okay.
It's not
that
just
didn't
their...
answer my question. How does their arcs impact Soldier Boy being there? Because that's what you're asking about Frenchie and Kamiko in season 4.
Because he is the crux of the conflict.
Who
So
is the
their
crux of
arcs
the
their arcs serve the conflict.
Who? Soldier Boy?
Huey's and MM's and yada yada. Soldier Boy, I'm saying, is the source of the conflict. Saying him having a different relationship with each of the characters and each of the characters' individual arcs serve towards dealing with that conflict.
What is your point?
My point being, season 4 does not have that.
First, okay, 2 things. Still doesn't answer my question because that's not what you're putting on to season 4.
What is your question? Again?
How does their character arcs impact the plot and how it progresses?
From what I remember,
if MM doesn't hold on. If MM doesn't progress, Soldier Boy still goes to vault. If Huey doesn't progress, Soldier Boy still goes to vault. If Starlight doesn't progress, Soldier Boy still goes to vault. So why are you putting that onto season 4?
That's false.
What do you mean? That's literally what you're saying with Frenchie.
Soldier Boy wasn't free until like episode 4 or 3. I can't quite remember.
They didn't go through their character arcs yet at that point in the season.
It was building up to it. The 10th V started before that, and they were on the trail of him.
Okay.
Like MM's arc with him started before he was awake. It was recalling the trauma behind that.
Okay. And?
What?
I'm asking, how is their character arc, their development, how does that impact Soldier Boy being there? He's still gonna be there either way, no matter what happens with their character, right? They're not, if they change or not, Soldier Boy is still gonna end up in the same spot, correct?
What are they changing from? Like, what
do you mean? What are they changing from? You just explained it.
What is causing them to change? It's Temp V and Soldier Boy, the two parts of the plot, the two parts of the main conflict of the season.
Soldier Boy doesn't change Huey.
Yeah, but him going through his whole machismo thing at the same time, they were getting Temp V throughout the whole time with him. Like, he teleported a bunch while Soldier Boy was there. Like, and
What does that have to do with this character?
With Soldier Boy's character or Huey's?
Huey.
Huey, dude, he went on a season-long arc about wanting to, like, quote unquote man up, and the Temp V was an outlet for that, which he quits by the end, and it strains his relationship with Starlight, and then brings it back together.
Yes, I agree, but Soldier Boy has zero impact on that character arc. Soldier Boy's not the reason he changes.
Why would he need to change if not for getting Soldier Boy, or like his part of the story?
What do you mean? Why would he need to change without his part of the story?
Because Soldier Boy was the key mission of the story. That was the excuse. The Temp V was that was the excuse for using Temp V, because I had to gunpowder and teleport around. That is part of the conflict. But still,
I agree. I'm asking, how does that impact how he changes? Not why he does it, how he changes.
Because Soldier Boy is the worst version of that machismo energy that he's going for.
That's nothing to do with Huey's character arc. What are you talking about? That's
Because
not even the explanation he gives.
Huey's having a character arc of being more, I don't know, masculine. However you want to say it.
Him thinking about his dad is what changes him. The conversation between him and Starlight in the fucking car is where Huey's character changes. When he thinks about his dad.
Okay.
Soldier Boy didn't change him.
Okay.
Soldier Boy was only a catalyst.
Sir, Soldier Boy, the character didn't, but his part in the plot, the plot did. It started the problem. It may not be what fixed it, but that's where it came from. And I'm not saying that these two are fucking.
The virus is what. Yeah. And the virus is the catalyst for Frenchie's character changing, right?
But I'm not saying these are two different things, like two separate. I'm sorry. These aren't two intertwined, like, plot points that's gonna bounce off each other a ton. It's just that there was a through line. Everyone was kind of like tied together for it, other than like Frenchie. But
I just gave you the same thing that you gave me for Huey. What are you talking about?
Dude, I'm confused.
Soldier Boy was the catalyst for Huey's. He was the catalyst for Huey using the Temp V, right?
Right.
Which was the catalyst of him going to that point, right? Using the Temp V and then changing, right?
Right.
And the virus is the reason why Frenchie gets taken out of jail, right? Which is part of the plot, which is something all the characters want, right?
When does that happen?
What?
Were
you not watching the show?
This is part of the point. When does it happen? It happens like.
When does what happen? The virus?
No, Frenchie getting out.
It happens in episode 7. What?
Happens in episode 7. 1 from the end, or what was it 2? Fuck it.
Yeah, the final 2 episodes. What does that have to do with anything?
Because it happens so late. Why do we spend so much time on his side plot when all it does is shelve him and then bring him back for the finale?
Why did they shelve him? What was the point of that?
In relation to the finale, I don't know.
Doesn't matter if it was in relation to the finale or not at that point.
That's my problem with it.
That's not an issue. I don't care. If that's your issue, sure. I don't care. I'm asking, why is that an issue with the show?
I think issue's the wrong word. It's not like an active problem. It's just not as good as it was before. That's not because there's more negative things. It's just the positive things don't hit as hard.
Okay. I mean, if that's how you feel, I don't think I'm gonna be able to get you to change that. I'm interested in how this is a problem in the show, not how you feel about it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's fair. If we're gonna get disagreements on the boys, I'm kind of looking for more, like, I guess, hard-hitting, like, issues people have.
You want one of those? I think Shang-Chi was about as bad at world building as Black Panther was.
Really? Okay, let's hear that. I'm more interested in this.
Okay.
I gotta piss.
All right, go ahead.
Alright, so my two problems with the world building would be the Mandarin's past and being this 1,000-year long Genghis Khan figure who meets a woman who decides that 1,000-year history is not a red flag, and they settle down in like Midwest America for a few years, have two kids. Then the woman dies, and then he immediately goes back.
Okay, so let's talk about I guess because you mentioned her falling for him in the first place. So you said that his 2,000 years of conquering whatever he's doing, you say that should have been like a red flag to her, and implying that she should never be with him, right?
Implying that it would probably take more work at the very least, but yeah, should never really hit it off that quick.
Well, how do we know how quick it was? Because for all we know, it wasn't like straight away. It could have been after a process of actively changing this person, and I think that is very much possible. And if it works, then yeah, I don't see the issue. The reason she was able to get him to change was showing his capacity for love, and not just conquering and taking over everything all the time. I think if that part of himself was shown, then I think that's a fair reason to fall for him. If he's actively changed for the better because of that.
Right.
I mean, I guess if I were to give an example, right?
It is.
Right. Let's say, I don't know, this is not romantic, this is more of a friendship, but Clint and Black Widow in the MCU, they met because Clint was sent to kill Black Widow, but he made a different call, and he saw she was capable of change, and when they worked together, you know, he was able to see that. So, like, is it a problem that he's friends with her, even though that should be a red flag of her past?
Maybe. It's...
How so?
I said I don't really know. It's... In the movie, it was kind of like a storybook moment, like they just skipped.
The reason I say it's important is because you're saying the world building for this is as bad as Black Panther, and I need something more than like, well, I don't know why it's a problem. It's a problem.
That's not even world building. That's character.
Hold on.
Well, to be fair, it has to do with how the world is set the way it is in present day. But regardless, like, just to reiterate, just to make it clear, I don't think that someone having a problematic past and being able to change that should be like a reason not for a character not to have a relationship with someone. Because, like I said, by that logic,
no, that's
Clint
not,
should never have been
really,
friends
really
with Natasha to the point where they're considered family.
Okay, that's not the problem. I think it's a little goofy, but it's not the issue. The main issue is the Mandarin as a character being this ancient conqueror and then becoming going suburban and then going back to that. The Ten Rings being this
well, okay,
Marvel's
you're jumping a lot of topics. Let's try to do one at a time. So your problem is with Mandarin's character, the fact that for 2,000 years he's been conquering and now he wants to do something else.
Like I said, no. I'm getting to where I want to touch on. I meander. I'm sorry.
That's all right. I mean, I just want to go like one at a time, like one flaw at a time.
I'll skip to when I get to.
All right.
My main issue being the 10 rings, being this ancient warrior underground that's lasted thousands of years.
What about them?
Out of the dozens of Marvel undergrounds, this one takes up way too much space. Mainly how the only time the organization was hinted at before was Iron Man 1, where all
Iron
they
Man
were
3
were
and
assassins trying to...
Ant-Man?
Hold on. Iron Man 1, when the
No,
terrorists
yeah,
wanted to get the
I'm
Jericho
caught up
missiles.
on... Yeah, I was mentioning
And-
the movies to help you out here.
Right. Then Iron Man 3, when the Mandarin was fake. I don't remember if they showed the real 10 rings, but it was a stage production.
Uh-huh.
And was he an Ant? Were they an Ant-Man?
They were doing a deal for the Yellow
Oh
Jacket.
my god.
Oh,
But yeah,
right,
let's get to the issue. So you're saying that they're what? They take up too much space?
They take up too much space, especially when it also introduces the secret spirit world, where like people have lived for thousands of years with a different kind of magic and a different kind of afterlife, and there's just so much more stuff that doesn't fit in the MCU very well.
In
That's
what way?
that's my main issue. That's my main issue with Black Panther's world building is that
Yeah, but with Black Panther,
doesn't-
there's tangible contradictions to the world building that you can point out. So I'd have to ask, like, what are tangible contradictions you can point out with the 10 rings?
with the 10 rings, this was a very long time ago, but they were portrayed in Iron Man 1 as very fringe. And
What do you mean?
the way they're portrayed now, it is another massive organization that nobody noticed.
They never said they don't notice
Which-
them.
There's stories about them that they said that there's been stories told about the 10 rings. In fact, it's
And
gotten to a
people
point where
knew-
they've been appropriated.
Right, and people knew about Wakanda, but they weren't right about it.
Yeah, but
Same way
What?
that they didn't know that the 10 rings.
That's not the
the Mandarin.
problem.
The Mandarin was a magic dude.
well, yeah, I
problem-
think there's a
well-
difference between knowing a location that has this magic, or not magic, this illusion barrier that anyone can check out, as opposed to them, the 10 rings operating in the shadows and they have stories about them, but they don't have their base of operations or anything like that. I mean, even if you were to go to Wenwu's village, you're not even gonna know that's the 10 rings. You're just gonna think it's some village.
Right now, when they were doing the training montage, it was a huge compound with
Training can happen anywhere.
yeah, it can happen anywhere, but they still had that location. They're massive.
Doesn't really expose them.
when the fringe stories about them are just about this weird mystical shit, or they're really scary, but to the mainstream they're just a terrorist organization.
Their compound is in the middle of nowhere in a mountain.
I just want to break this down, right? So the problem with Black Panther, random person goes to Wakanda just to check it out. They enter the barrier, and it's like, how do we... Wait, what? Is this real? Or... Oh, wait, my hand is going through... What the hell? What is happening? Oh, there's a whole new world... Oh, wow, okay, this isn't true. And by the way, Wakanda's on the map, right? It's on a public map. So that is just definitively, you can't go around that, right? Everybody knows where it is. Yeah, and it's huge. Whereas with
the perception of Wakanda is that they are another poor African nation.
Right, but if you
when
go
in
to
reality,
that
they're the
country,
most advanced on the world.
I'm
They're
outlining
most
something real
advanced in the
quick.
world.
I'm outlining something real quick. When you go to the country, you even just walk there, you're going to know that's not true. So that's problem one with that, with the comparison. But also, Wenwu's
outside of the
hold up. Wenwu's base of operations, that's not on a public map. You can't just go on the map and be like, I want to check that place out. You can't do that, first of all. And second of all, hang on. Second of all, their security is better than Wakanda's. And it's unfortunate because Wakanda is supposed to be very advanced, supposed to have great security. Their security's really bad. Black Widow could break in there. Could Black Widow break into the Ten Rings organization? I don't think so. They have assassins stationed like throughout the barriers throughout. They would be watching. They have advanced weaponry. They're very good at fighting. And yeah, I don't think you're getting into the Ten Rings very easily unless you're also a trained assassin, which I assume the Iron Gang, is that what they're called? I assume they are.
Yeah.
So the whole thing of like, oh well, how does the Ten Rings not get discovered? It's like, well, they're discovered. It's just you don't know where their base is. But I don't know why would the world know where their base is? Why would Iron Man even know that? He didn't even know about Hydra and Shield, so how would he know about this?
I don't see why this is the point. When my point is that they both have similar shared mystery around them, or mystique.
Yeah, but
the problem isn't where the base is. The problem is that they have it at all.
No, it's
for
not.
for Wakanda. I don't know how Black Widow would break into there, but
she'd shoot down the people. They have spears. They have spears or blades or whatever, and rhinos. She's breaking in easily. That's what they show at the entrance.
To the borders, I guess.
Wait, do you think Claw
I'm not talking about
has a better chance of breaking into Wakanda than Black Widow?
Did he break into the city? I don't think he broke into the city.
He was in prison and broke out.
In the country.
He was in prison and broke out.
So he didn't break in, he broke out.
I'd assume the security would still be the same going in and out.
So they wouldn't arrest you just for being in the country doing nefarious things.
He was already arrested. And
I would assume their security for a prison would be more advanced as well.
This is why it's embarrassing for Wakanda. There's no way they could have lost him with how advanced their shit is. Like, even a random civilian like Killmonger's father, he's not gonna know the codes. He's not gonna know that.
Well, I wanted to say, you said that the problem isn't the location, it's the problem that they know they exist at all. No, that the location is a big problem. Because they didn't know, they say they don't know where Wakanda is or whatever, when it's on the map, and it's a massive city that a lot of people would find eventually over the course of thousands of years. Whereas Wenwu, he's like at the top of like, or he's like inside near like atop a mountain, around a bunch of mountains in wherever in China. Like, it's a way smaller compound. So it's like, what? It's way more believable that Wenwu's compound wouldn't be found.
Yeah, like, just to be clear, I had to give like a very specific scenario in the context of Black Panther for why, for example, the Avengers would have found out about the truth of Wakanda. Like, I had to outline the context, the circumstances, and the world building and say, this is why they would find them. You can't just say, well, they're around the world, and, like, what do we have for why they should be found?
That they are thousands of years old.
Being old doesn't mean you can just be found anywhere all the time.
It doesn't mean you can be found, but your capabilities can be known about beyond being an Al-Qaeda clone.
Everyone knows what Thor can do. It doesn't mean they can find him.
Okay, but everyone knows what Thor can do. Not everyone knows what the Ten Rings can do.
That makes it worse. More people know about Thor, and they can't find him.
Well, Thor jumped down and said hello, so yeah.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
When you show up tearing up shit in New York City while yelling "I'm the God of Thunder," it's pretty easy for shit to spread around, especially when it's public information. How would a millennia-long organization like the Ten Rings stay hidden on a planet they share with 3 other?
Because they're in a base in the middle of nowhere that nobody knows where it is. Like, I guess, how would they know? Because, like, you mentioned they're old, that's not a reason. You mentioned that there's stories about them, which, again, that's not a reason.
How do we know they haven't moved their compound around throughout the years? Also,
that's another thing, yeah.
I guess we don't. Doesn't really matter where they are. We should know more about them based on there being history of the places they conquered or destroyed or
There's histories and legends of Thor before he comes to Earth. Why don't they go to Asgard?
Okay.
Exactly. Like, just because you have legends and history of someone doesn't mean you can fucking find them.
Colin, I'll go even this
Doesn't
far.
mean that-
Hydra. There is news of Hydra in the 1940s. Why couldn't they find them in present day in Winter Soldier? You see how that, like, doesn't work just because there's stories about someone and they've existed for a while? That doesn't mean you can just track them down.
No, I'm saying there should be more because of how long it lasted and how big it was. There should be more than just vague stories.
Why should there be more, though? They've been operating in the shadows largely whenever they do stuff.
Because, like, in the opening, they showed a pitchfield battle, like, somewhere in China. That would be recorded. That would be,
That doesn't mean you know where he is.
That would be
That wasn't
present
a
in the
range.
land.
That wasn't even
It's
his
still-
base. That wasn't his home base. He was invading.
Do you know where? Do you know where Hitler's house is? Do you know where he lived?
in Berlin. What?
Yeah,
I know
where?
He had one.
Yeah, where was his house though?
Okay,
Can you give me an
I don't
address?
care where. I know he had one.
Yeah, but can you give me an address?
Why? I know he
Because
had
we
one.
need to know
Why
their
don't we
location,
know
right?
the Ten Rings even have one?
What do you mean? Why do you?
Wait,
because all we know
Colin,
about
I got a
them
better
are
one.
they-
Can you tell me the house address of the Zodiac Killer or Jack the Ripper? Can you tell me their house addresses?
Well,
I got to Google Ted Cruz. Give me a second.
Like, just to make it clear, like, for the audience, I don't see, like, yes, there can be stories about someone. They can exist for a while. That doesn't mean you have a location.
why didn't they find Jeffrey Dahmer immediately?
I think Jeffrey Dahmer was 24 when he did that. If we had been doing it for thousands of years, we would know around where he is, around where he's staying, where he moved.
Yeah, but so
Why?
Kanye, do you understand? Like, when I talked about how Wakanda should have been found, you understand? I didn't just say how long they existed for. I said these are circumstances that would cause them to be looked into, and the fact that their location is on the map. Like, why are we sticking with this whole they've existed for X amount of time, therefore you can find them?
Why are we acting like we aren't still finding new lands to this day? Like new areas of the world?
I mean, we are.
Exactly.
That doesn't really flow to what I'm trying to say.
Well, what are you trying to say?
Between Wakanda and the Ten Rings, yeah, Wakanda had reasons to be looked into, I guess. But as an entity, they were a lot less conspicuous as being just a small time African nation. Why would you look into them that much? Like overtly.
Because they're
Yeah,
getting
there are
I gave
certainly-
a motivation from
there
the
are
Avengers.
certainly
It's because of
there
Age
are
of
certainly
Ultron.
problems.
That's a good motivation.
Yeah, it is, and they find out about it like right after that.
No, they don't find out about
Which-
it right afterwards. It takes years. Or a year, sorry.
I mean, a year.
It still
enough time
changes
for
how
the
things play
Sokovia
out.
Accords to be drafted up, the King to die, and Black Panther to reveal himself.
Well, yeah, but things still play out much differently.
Yeah, I
But, like,
guess.
I want to get back to this. Okay, yes, they've existed for a while. They've been doing lots of stuff in the world, I agree. But you're missing the part where they're supposed to know their location. That's the problem here. You mentioned the earlier
They
battle
don't need
when
to.
they're
They don't
invading
need to
people.
load their location, just their capabilities, or like.
They have a good
previous
idea of their
participations.
capabilities. What does that change about the world, though?
Wait, who's they in this? I'm talking about like the world at large.
Okay. I mean, I'm struggling to find, like, what is the inconsistency with the Ten Rings?
It's more of I think it's a logic thing.
What's the logic issue?
Logically, if you've existed on Earth for thousands of years and impacted it the same way the Ten Rings have, they would be noticed a lot more as a large conquering organization.
Which
What?
they have been when they've made, again, Iron Man 1 and 3. They know about them. There's stories about them.
They know about them as a terrorist organization in the Middle East, an Al-Qaeda.
Okay.
Because that's one of their post things. They're all
Yeah.
around the world. What?
Because that was as deep as it went for them.
What are you
It
talking
was-
about?
Okay, but you do realize they operate in the shadows, as they've stated. So, when they're doing it in the shadows, they're not going to figure out every place they've been stationed at. It's going to be a lot more than they've been expecting.
Well, that's like saying Japan should know where the exact military base where they fucking sent the plane to go drop the nuke.
Okay, what is the reason to look into Wakanda other than them having vibranium? Not
How
using
about
it, not being advanced, just having it.
How
Literally
about just
something as
donating
hold on.
to a
Literally
poor
something
country?
as hold on. Literally something as simple as, okay, they want to explore this for geographical reasons. Oh, they go there. Oh, there's a mystical force field here. Wait, what's this? There would be stories about this. Shit like this would happen.
What do you mean? Wakanda's a big place. The world, there's places in the world no one has been to. Why was someone
Wakanda's a
wandering into
massive
the
fucking
outside of-
country.
Also, we did entertain that they do arrive at the Ten Rings base, and all I'm going to say is, yes, again, they have security, and there's nothing revealing that this is where the Ten Rings are all the time. Like, you'd have to prove that. Like, can you prove to us, like, that their base, if someone were to just walk there, they'd know straight away that this is the Ten Rings? Because to my memory of the film, that's not there. I don't know, maybe I'll scroll through it.
How does Wakanda fail at that?
I just explained it to you.
Because just because
They're
you
literally
have
on the
a
map.
city
Well,
in
I'll
a
just give a
country
simple
doesn't mean
distinction.
people just
They're
don't
literally
wander
on the
into
map.
it.
There's no excuse when they're on the map.
Yeah, so are the Ten Rings. We have like satellites
that
that cover
cover
everything.
The
I
map
can do-
doesn't
you
say
can go
this is where
anywhere.
the Ten Rings are. The map says this is where Wakanda is.
Yeah, they have a circle. They have a big circle around it the size of Chad that says this is Wakanda. That doesn't mean they know where. That doesn't
And
mean they
also,
know
I'm just
where.
going to add to
the
that. That's
mega
where the
city is.
original
That means they
vibranium
can.
dealings were done.
Wait,
That's where the
no,
original
about the
dealings were
first
done.
deal.
In the country, yeah.
Right.
But why would
So
they,
that would draw
how would
attention
you
to the
wander
country that
into
they
the
have this
city and
very
get
rare
away?
and powerful metal out there. And they
I'm-
have it on
I'm
the
so
map.
lost. You don't
Shield,
think a big
Shield had it in their records. How does Shield not know about this?
you don't think a big force field would be like, huh? These people have some crazy shit going down in there. What's up with this?
And Shield, you can't excuse Shield with it. Shield monitors potential threats. That's their job. They monitor Captain America.
Yeah, they aren't the world at large.
Doesn't matter. Shield
Sure.
still looks into the world at large. How do you think they found out about a lot of the things they found out about?
Shield didn't know
It's
about
an
Hydra
intelligence
either.
organization.
Shield didn't know that half of them were Nazis. Why would they know this?
Because the
like,
Nazis...
why would they know
Wait, hold up. So, the Nazis themselves, the Hydra people, they've existed for a long time. There's stories about them, too. So, by your standard, why don't they know about them in their own
There's
organization?
one story about them. There's one story about them losing.
No. There's a huge story about, like, what they've been doing throughout history. They were in the war. That's huger than any of the stories with the Ten Rings.
They were in a war for 6 years that that ended
Yeah,
with them
that
losing.
is bigger than the stories about the Ten Rings.
Why wouldn't the Ten Rings have stories about wars they participated in when there have been thousands of
You
them?
understand? World War II. You see how that's a big deal compared to what the Ten Rings would have been doing. This is World War.
Okay. It was a big war, yeah, and we teach about it a lot.
It is one of the biggest events in, like,
You won't find a
history in
single.
terms of
You
wars.
probably won't find a single person on the planet that doesn't know about that fucking war.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, can we find someone that can spot how this organization has been in thousands of recorded wars?
Okay.
And it's still,
let's run with it. Let's run with that. Let's run with that.
only-
Let's run with that. How does that figure them out to where their compound is? How did they figure that out?
You don't need the compound in this equation.
You
You just
do
need
in
to
this
know that
scenario.
they exist as a.
They know
big
they
organization.
exist.
They know they
They know
exist.
they exist. So your
didn't.
point
They
is
thought
made.
They were just Al Qaeda. Like they thought they were just
What?
a
Well, yeah, they
Eastern terrorist
thought, yeah,
organization.
No, they thought. Wait. Yes, they thought they were part of that. That would be what they think the Ten Rings is. It's an organization that's been around for decades, thousands of years.
Why'd you say decades?
I don't know. I mean, it would still be decades, but thousands of years is what it is.
Look,
So,
I'm going by off what the intro showed, the big battle with Wenwu wielding his rings. And
That's
he probably
one
stopped
tribe
doing that
or
later. He probably
country
stopped
or
doing
whatever,
that later
or
on.
city. It could be a city.
This is also when they had literally like fucking caveman technology when he fucking invaded them.
Yeah, like, who's gonna write that? I mean, they were the only ones there. Who's writing that down?
Dog, we've had writing for like 5,000 years.
No. I'm talking
Especially
about
in
the
the
people
world-
that
this
get
part of the world
invaded.
he's in.
Who's writing that down?
The people who survived.
Even
or the
if they
people
did
who
write it
won,
down.
or the
Yeah, but
people
they're
who
so
were-
powerful,
the
how
people
would
who
they
knew-
survive? Right?
Even if they did write it down, what does that mean? How is that a bad thing?
Who are they gonna publish that to? They're gonna conquer that whole land.
You know how we know about every single war that happened, well, not every single, but most of the wars that happened in, like, with Northumbria and, like, Wessex.
That's
And,
irrelevant to what we just said. We're bringing up the fact that
I'm asking.
there's great reasons as to why this would go unrecorded. Because they've conquered any potential writers. Even if they wrote it, who's gonna buy that book? Who's seeing that?
Chinese historians do that all the time.
Do you think?
I don't even. Hold on. I just want to make this easier. I just want to make this easier. If they wrote it down, then what?
Then you could at least Google them and find an answer.
In the
Find an
Like, you
answer.
can-
Wait.
like,
Shut up, SK. Find an answer to what?
That the Ten Rings are and were a massive organization that was conquering parts of China for thousands of years,
Okay, and now what?
and that doesn't connect to a Middle Eastern terrorist cell.
What are you talking about? That could just be one part of the organization, or the organization developed.
Also, back to Colin's
It was
question.
part of
then
it was
what?
part of the
So
organization.
they find.
I
they find
agree.
that, then
no
what?
one was aware
What
of
is
that.
the implication? What do you mean they weren't aware of that? They were at war with them. What are you talking about?
They weren't aware that it was a Chinese-based like crime syndicate. They were aware that it was
Oh my
it was a
goodness.
terrorist organization.
They
in-
would be. Hold on.
in Afghanistan. They
There's
thought that was
nothing
the
in
whole
Iron
thing.
Man. There is
That's the
nothing
case
in
I got.
Iron. There is nothing in Iron Man 1 or 3 that shows that this is the only part of that organization. They just say this is part of that organization. This is an organization.
So then, how in Iron Man 3 did anyone buy that the real Ten Rings and the real Mandarin were a American businessman and Ben Kingsley?
What are you talking about?
Isn't
Then
that
they-
In
just
Iron
they
Man
don't-
3,
They
it
don't.
was
First
the-
of all,
it
wait.
was
First
the
of all, first of all, they don't know about the American businessman. They think it's the guy, the fucking the actor Trevor Slaughter or whatever the fuck his name is.
Mhm.
So what is? Why would they not buy that?
I'm thinking about the ending where they kidnap the president. It's very overt. It happens briefly.
Okay, can they
but
not even if even if they do know about the American guy, because I thought you were referring to the whole world. Even if they do know about it, what does that mean? What does that contradict? Okay, they brought in a guy on their force. What does that contradict?
Okay, I'm lost.
So am I.
Okay. How about
Like,
we talk about the Ghost Realm about that.
Okay.
Okay, so it is situated in a magical bamboo like maze that is very hard to cross unless you like pedal to the metal with a jeep.
Yeah.
And that leads to a pocket dimension where what was the MacGuffin again? Like they had like a sealed like door with a bunch of like evil spirits or something,
Mhm.
or, like a dragon. Why would the Ten Rings want this beyond what the power they already have? When there are far more like publicly available crazy powers.
So, if you heard about a mystical force that's uncharted territory that could have anything, why would you not go there?
He had already been there, and he saw it, and
Nope,
he got
no,
a
he
wipe out
hadn't.
of it.
He was
Now wants to
never
conquer
in
the
there.
place.
No. They never let him in there.
Into the pocket dimension, like the forest. At least
Yeah,
like,
they
got-
never
got the
let him in
door.
there. The fuck? And the reason he goes there in the end of the movie isn't even to conquer it. So like what?
Oh yeah, it was like her like
It was to get his
the
wife
ghost was,
out.
like faking her spirit or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. It's hard for me to buy the Ten Rings wanting that much, but I guess since it was his wife.
All right. Next issue.
Hello.
How do they lose to Aquafina?
What do you
What?
mean?
How did I'm just being a dick. How do they lose to Aquafina? Like,
Well, is this a real disagreement, or is this or is that a joke?
Well, I mean, we've got more people, so if you don't have
this is
anything...
me playing out my time. I'll see you later.
Well, we got other people, so if this is just a joke, we gotta move on.
This is the joke before I hang up.
All right, goodbye.
All right.
I think... Is he in here for... I don't know who was in here first.
Hello.
Shit, Warlock. Hello.
Hey guys, what are we doing today? How are we feeling?
Dude, we're doing good.
Doing
I just
good.
want to say, Colin, you have very beautiful hair. I'm gonna say that.
I disagree, but thank you.
I disagree with your disagreement. Your hair is beautiful, man. I love it.
Thanks, man. Okay.
So basically, all I wanted to say, I don't know. You have beautiful hair.
Okay.
All right.
What the fuck? Okay. All right. Matt, are you here?
Hello.
Matt Hodgkinson, you are on the line. Yeah, I'm muted.
Can you hear me okay, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hello.
Oh, hello. I was on another one, so happy to be doing this again.
Sweet.
I'm just letting you know I live in the UK, so it's dead late, so if I sound tired, it's just because I've been doing a lot of stuff today, but anyway, my motherfucking disagreement, it's not, it depends how you answer this question. So, I saw you were talking about Shang-Chi, you guys think it's a good movie and everything, and I really like it too, I think it's a really good movie, but an issue I've always had with the movie, and I'm not sure if you agree with this, that's why I'm joining the call, is I think the third act of the movie is a bit weak. I think it starts off really well with the fight with Shang-Chi and Wenwu. I love the dialogue back and forth between them where talking about how his mother would be ashamed if she was still around. Then we get the scene after they pull the rings together and then he says to him, "Dad, please, I need you," and all that. I think all that's great, but the moment where it kind of goes downhill for me is where the big soul-sucking monster just breaks out, and then it kind of turns into this big monster fight with the people versus all the soul-sucking monsters, because in my opinion that kind of took away from what I liked about the movie leading up to that point. That it was a very family-oriented story, and the whole, like, the fight was between the son and the father, and it was the whole family situation. It was very personal, and I kind of felt making it world-ending with like a soul eater kind of just took away from that.
I don't necessarily think it takes away from it, because it's still there. I think it was more just the consequences of that decision that he made.
Yeah, I never thought this like ruined it. It just kind of felt a little off to me.
I don't really agree. I think it's fine as the consequences of Wenwu's actions, and it's a really cool set piece to look at, action wise. And
I may have to rewatch the movie because it has been a while since I last watched it, so I probably would concede on this if I watched it again.
Mm-hmm.
This is just going off of what I remember from it.
Okay. I mean, that's just the way I look at it, is like the consequences. It's a cool action set piece. Shang-Chi is kind of accepting of his what's it called? He's accepting of his power that he can use with the rings. He can use it for good. There's a moment with his sister where it kind of concludes their relationship and how they've progressed, of how he's like, I'm not letting you go, not again, during the final dragon
That's
sequence.
a good moment. I always did like that moment.
Yeah, so I think it does contribute to the story overall. I don't think it ruins anything.
Again, it's been a while since I last watched the movie, so if I watched it again, I might be willing to concede on it. Like, I could comment on the next Disagreement day after I've rewatched it or something.
All right.
I just wanted to have one more thing. Colin, thank you so much for doing that Under the Mayo response. That Arkham Knight video destroyed my fucking brain cells. That is one of the worst fucking videos I've ever seen in my life. And the fucking comment section on that stream, seeing how he responds to the criticisms, is this person is so fucking stupid. Like, I knew he made dumb videos like with God of War and that.
Wait, did he respond to my video on stream?
No, he hasn't responded to it. I would love to see him, but no, in the comment section, he's responding to criticisms that people in the comments have left.
Oh, okay.
Like, one person, like, you know, the bit in the video where he says, the Cobra tanks are stupid because the people driving them can't hear
Yeah, they're not
behind
even.
them.
Yeah, there's people
Yeah,
not even in
the tanks are fucking drones.
automated.
It's stated multiple times that they're not manned. And then a guy pointed this out in a comment, and then Under the Mayo's response to that was, oh, so they're stupid for designing tanks with no audio sensors so they can't hear the Batmobile behind them. And it's like, the fucking Cobra tanks wouldn't have those to begin with because they didn't think Batman would find the weak spot on the back.
I mean, yeah, that was kind of the point of how they were designed. They were supposed to not.
As soon as Batman destroys the first one, the militia commander's like, but how the hell did he destroy that? We know the rounds he's using, the armor's impenetrable.
Well, I think the tanks have radars too. I just think the Batmobile's just not showing up on them. Like, you gotta remember.
Go behind them. That's why you have to go behind them to avoid the radars.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, thanks so much. I love doing these. I really appreciate getting to do these. I love that about you two guys' channels.
Alright, yeah, same.
You left. Jan. Hello, Jan.
Hey there, how you doing, man?
How's it going?
Hello.
It goes. I do only have like about a quick half an hour because it's kind of sprung up in my timeline, like, oh, it's happening. So I thought I'd join in, and I'm actually a similar boat as the previous gentleman who was on here from when I was listening in with my contention is about the film Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, made in 2021 by Marvel Studios. So, I believe the tagline under the stream is, it's a great movie.
Yep.
If you're okay with it, just for my understanding, just as a baseline foundation, when you say great, do you mean great as for insofar as Phase 4 is concerned?
8 out of 10 is higher. 8 out of 10 or higher, like on a scale of 10.
I gave it a 7.
Right.
Or 8. 7 or 8 for me.
I watched the movie when it came out, and I've rewatched it twice since. I am confidently sitting at about a 4 or 5. But I might be wrong on this, so I'm happy to kind of go over it. So, in terms of my particular points of criticism, I'll, given a little bit of time I have, I might hop on to a different disagreement in a day to go into more details plot-wise. I think the strength of the film is the thematic through line's pretty strong. I definitely like the character journey of Shang-Chi. I think it's definitely the best Phase 4 movie, I would say, for a start. But my issue begins, as it often does with these ones, at the world building section and the overall place in the world. So, Wenwu, 1,000 years ago, conquers a bunch of shit, right, as I recall. And then 1996, if memory serves, he meets his wife, whose name I don't recall at the top of my head. And then 3 years later, they have Shang, and then 4 years after that, they have his sister. When Shang is 7, she dies. And then he takes up the 10 rings again. So, of course, the immediate question we all have to, I feel, ask and answer is, where the fuck have the 10 rings been this whole time? That is to say, from 2006 until now.
So what do you mean, where have they been? Because, like, we've seen them in Iron Man, we've seen them in Ant-Man, and we've been shown that they operate in the shadows, they sometimes do assassinations. I think they made it pretty clear where they were.
Yeah, so my question then is, they've not been found, they've not been meaningfully responded to, they're kind of allowed to operate with impunity?
How would the public find
Also, the 10 rings in Iron Man, as I recall, even Wenwu says this himself, that was a different... I don't think...
He said in Iron Man 3, not Iron Man 1.
I mean, regardless, right, let's just run with it anyway. How exactly would the 10 rings be found? Like the base of operations?
Yeah, I feel that given, the level of potential powerful people in the world that we're dealing with and the organizations that are present and at play, if they were operating the way they do, odds are not very high that they wouldn't at some point be located, especially if they operate the way we see in the film, which is, we just send this squad of people to attack a guy on a bus.
Okay. I mean, how exactly would that tie to their location?
Yeah.
Well, so the odds, if presumably that's how they conduct their operations, I do not feel that the odds are particularly high that one of them eventually would be apprehended, interrogated, they could be tracked down. Like, I'm saying they seem very much the same way I would levy the same criticism on something like the Winter Soldier. They seem very haphazard with how they utilize their resources.
Yeah, but there's a difference between the Winter Soldier and how they handle this. The 10 Rings' existence is already public. There's already stories about them. The Winter Soldier is not supposed to exist even in the eyes of the intelligence agencies, yet we see him in broad daylight. So that's why it's a problem in Winter Soldier and not a problem with this.
I agree the Winter Soldier's worse. I would still maintain that if your modus operandi is what we see in the movie, because so from the attempt that we see in the movie, and this is them sending, like, this is, mind you, this is them going after Shang-Chi, who has the pendant, which is something they super need, right? Bunch of guys show up on a bus in broad daylight, in a public place. It's not a bus, sorry, it's the fucking San Francisco thing. You know what I mean? And they just start fighting him. There's even a guy recording it. How are none of these people identified? How are, how they're going on? These presumably would be people with a record as well. Like,
well, I mean, I assume they might have a house address in America, but that doesn't lead them to the 10 Rings.
Wait. I don't... That just because they're in America doesn't mean that they're there legally.
I agree.
But, and also, it doesn't mean that they have a home address or a record in America.
No. I'm not saying in America, but I'm saying America, or actually it's San Francisco, so yeah, specifically America. There's this civilian who recorded it. That footage is, I'm going to assume, not going to remain on that guy's cell phone for his entire life, to say nothing of the other people who might be doing the same thing and just bystanders. This alone, an operation like this, would be a massive prompt for America to go, okay, so we have all these people's faces, let's go to the international community, let's, work together on this one.
A face is not an address. I think that's key here. A face is not an address.
Of course, so I just want to, I guess, maybe articulate it better. My contention isn't they should immediately be located as a result of this hit, right? My logic train is, this is a very important, I hesitate to use that hit, let's say theft, for them to conduct, right? They conduct it in this very, very unsubtle manner where there's tons of witnesses. I am led to believe that I would have no reason to assume this isn't similar to how they would conduct their other operations, given this was the hyper important one to not fuck up. So presumably this is it going to plan. I would say that I think it takes place in 2021, so from 2004 through till 2006 through till now, 15 years. They would probably have been found by then if this is how they do stuff.
I still
To be
don't see
honest,
how.
I want to point this out real quick. So we do see in like the early montage that they do things a lot more discreetly. They don't just like brazenly attack people out in broad daylight. And to be honest, this might actually be a more apt criticism of why are they even doing this on the bus as opposed to his house. Yeah. I think that could actually be a valid point. I don't know if Colin has a response to that, but I think that would be valid. I don't think that's proof that that's how they've always been. I don't think that's proof of that.
I am happy to stop. Go ahead. Sorry.
I think my point with the bus thing is they're clearly portrayed as very arrogant. Like even when Wenwu's like, yeah, you won't be able to kill him, they're like, yeah, okay, buddy. Like they're portrayed as that, the people that go for him.
So you're saying that they're basically saying Wenwu is saying you need more than this, and they're like, nah, we're fine. So they're disobeying him. That's what you're saying.
I mean, they may not have been disobeying him in a sense of like he knew about it, like he knew.
Oh exactly... yeah. I mean, like disobeying in the sense of going behind his back.
I don't know if it would be technically going behind his back, because the thing with.
He seems to approve of them doing it because he's indifferent, because he is confident that they will not succeed, which in and of itself I have a problem with. But I get what Colin's saying. You're basically, if I'm getting you correctly, Wenwu is giving them
I don't think. Well, hold on. So I don't think Wenwu much cared how they did it, because his goal was to bring him to, because you know how he sent the postcard to Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
His goal was to get him and his sister together, and then that's why he shows up when they're both together. I don't think his goal was even necessarily to actually get the pendant on that bus. So I don't really think he much cares how they go about it.
So you're saying the goal was for him to basically like have the red flag and motivate him to go to his sister.
Yeah.
That's a fair point, actually. So I'll concede to that.
Sure, but then I would just to reset to what my point was. I agree with SK's assessment. So the way I see it, there's two resolutions for this. Number one, this is the way they do their stuff, in which case my criticism stands. Number two, which I'd be willing to move to, is this is an exception. Normally they do that, they're better about, doing their business. But then them fucking up this much on this one is like, why would you leave this one to chance? And if the counter argument then becomes, oh, Wenwu kind of doesn't care, in fact encourages them to fuck this one up because he wants Shang-Chi to,
it wouldn't be necessarily encouraging them to fuck this one up. It would just be like, yeah, give it your best shot. Get that red flag.
Like basically, he knows they're gonna fail.
Yeah, but like, so then I feel doesn't that kind of compounds it on Wenwu's part, because if he knows, I mean, he's not omniscient, right? So he's making a calculated guess. One of these men is armed with fucking laser sword hand. There's a non-zero chance that Shang-Chi dies here. If Shang-Chi dies here, I guess they have the pendant, but we know that Wenwu doesn't want Shang-Chi to die.
Well, I guess maybe to draw a comparison, right? Let's say if you were to pit, I don't know, Batman against like 6 Penguin goons. I think like I think commonly speaking, I think people would just be like, yeah, Batman, he's taking them on. I think that's the similar line of logic Wenwu's going with there. Because for someone like Shang-Chi, this is like fodder to him. Or at least borders on fodder.
Yeah, I get your point. I will say, and maybe this is just the way I am as a person with the Batman goons analogy. If one of the Batman goons had what Razor Fist is equipped with, and the writers had Penguin be like,
Well, we do have a reference for that in the Arkham series, for example, like the what's it called, Sickle and Mr. Hammer.
Well, even then, I would still believe Batman would take on Mr. Hammer.
Yeah, well, I mean, he does.
So. So, I just want to be clear. The analogy then here would be Batman with all his kit, right? Shang-Chi isn't kitted out in this case. In any case, I would say I would probably extend that criticism to that situation as well. I just always, maybe this is a preference thing, but whenever the villain is like, oh yes, I'm gonna send highly what we are supposed to believe to be, I mean, meta, we understand these guys are foot soldiers, right? So they're probably fodder. But in universe, I assume he would presume that, his men aren't fodder. So I'm gonna send 6 guys.
No. It wouldn't be. He wouldn't see his men as fodder to anyone else, pretty much, but to someone like Shang-Chi, yeah.
Because he specifically pushed Shang-Chi when he was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. But to our understanding, you'll have to correct me on this one if I'm wrong, but I feel the film doesn't really explicitly say he's like keeping tabs on him regularly. For all he knows.
No, he does. No,
does
they
he?
do.
All
Yeah,
right,
they do
then.
say that in the movie.
Okay, yeah, no, then that's a more informed decision. Regardless, is there a non-zero chance realistically that Shang-Chi gets seriously injured or dies here? I feel the answer has to be yes, and I feel that therefore he should, at least tell Razorfist, hey, maybe don't bring that thing that slices buses in half.
No.
Maybe he just doesn't send him.
No, because it's very clear throughout the movie either way. Like, what's it called? If Shang-Chi dies, he wouldn't see him as a worthy son, which is like why he's pushing him to this like point, right? Like he doesn't necessarily care 100% if Shang-Chi dies, and that's very like explicit with his character and the way he trains him. Because if he doesn't live up to what Wenwu's standards of him are, then he doesn't even want him as a son.
He'll probably think all that training was for nothing.
Yeah.
No, I agree, but then, so that's the thing. Wenwu, as we understand him, if he's able to run this operation, very successfully and discreetly, is supposed to be a person. I would hazard a guess that leaves nothing to chance. Now, you can argue from his perspective, me sending these guys after Shang-Chi is leaving nothing to chance because Shang-Chi will prevail, and even if he doesn't prevail, I'm indifferent because fuck him, he's not my son. But we know from his conversation with Shang-Chi that he would prefer him alive. So, like, my point is, why take from Wenwu's perspective, why take the risk? And if he doesn't view it as a risk, that's the criticism, because he should view this as a risk, in my opinion.
I agree he would prefer him alive, 100%, but that doesn't mean he's not indifferent of it, so I don't see how that point stands.
Well, so if he prefers him alive, then he is not entirely indifferent, right? He's voiced a preference, and he shouldn't be making these choices.
Well, no, the indifference would come from he wouldn't view him as his son.
So you're saying
like he would prefer
if he's dead, he doesn't care. Okay.
He would prefer if he prevailed, because that would mean that he lived up to the standards that Wenwu set upon him. But if he doesn't live up to those standards, then it doesn't matter. So the indifference would still stand.
Yeah, I suppose. But, I mean, at that point the plot doesn't happen, right? Or, like, the plot happens very differently. So, I get what you're saying in regards to his mindset, but it's still just like a case of...
What does that have to do with anything?
Well, okay, so the relevance is in terms of a causal chain of events here, right? Shang-Chi has a pendant. Wenwu wants the pendant. Wenwu's objective is... Oh, sorry, his sister has a pendant too. This is unbeknownst to Shang-Chi. Wenwu wants to unite both pendants. And presumably, as we learn in his scene with them, unite both his children too, right? Wenwu sends a postcard. Shang-Chi presumably doesn't get the hint. Goons attack Shang-Chi. If Shang-Chi is killed in this altercation... Let's say Wenwu has a stake in that. He shouldn't want Shang-Chi to be killed here, because he could use Shang-Chi, and
why can he use him?
Well, if he's overpowered and brought before him, isn't that more useful than being dead?
No, because if he's dead, then he wouldn't be overpowered. He wouldn't live up to those standards.
Sure, but either way, Shang-Chi captured is still more. I mean. By that same logic, when Shang-Chi proves himself to not live up to his standards later on in the film, when he doesn't agree to go along with Wenwu's plan, he keeps him alive, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
I think it's a matter of you do live up to the standards, so physically you qualify, but I want you to... He's trying to convince him.
Well, yeah, but so, I mean, at that point, he tries to convince him, he fails, and then he gives up on the convincing and imprisons him, correct?
No, he doesn't give up until the ending, pretty much.
Well, but initially he imprisons him with the intent being, okay, you stay here, I'm gonna do what has to be done, right?
Well, he's gonna, yeah, but the intention behind that was once he explained that to him, Shang-Chi doesn't believe it. And Wenwu's like, okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong, and I'm gonna do this.
Okay, sure. I suppose I can accept that. I still would maintain that I'm not a fan of the trope of villain sends goons with the expectation that they will fail. Because that's just.
But I explained why. Though.
No, I understand. I understand. At this point, I'm not criticizing it. I'm just voicing a preference.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I would. I'm not criticizing that aspect of it. Rather, I would still maintain that my previous criticism, though, with them going, those goons going about it in this way, and like when we still wouldn't want it to be conducted like this. I feel if his interest is to remain in the shadows, so to speak.
Well, the problem with that is it doesn't expose their location. It doesn't keep them out of the shadows.
No. But like, so here's the thing. Imagine you're Wenwu, right? And it's like you're sending these dudes, right? Your option is number one, they go and they do a clean, effective, even if they perhaps fail, right? As you're anticipating them to, they get their ass kicked. Kind of like SK said, they ambush him at his house, they ambush him in an alley after dark. They don't do it publicly. And then option B is they do it publicly. You should have a stake, really, in them doing it via option one, wouldn't you? Like, you would prefer that strongly.
Well, I guess my question is, if he expects that Shang-Chi's going to win, what's the like?
Well, the
main
motivation.
outcome?
Well, the problem I have is that the motivation you're outlining is secrecy, right? This doesn't contradict that because he already knows that his organization is outed, right? He knows people appropriate his name. And his organization. So them doing it, no matter which the way, I'm assuming like if it was a different infiltration, right? Like if it was like infiltrating a country or a mission or something, yes, he would probably want them to go about it in a different way. But for the context of this scenario, even if they're figured out by the government or something, right? And being like, oh, these guys are the 10 rings. It's like, okay, the 10 rings are like everywhere. We don't even know the full extent where their compound is, what's their base of operations. There's so many people that have popped up over the earth that are like, appropriating this name, the 10 rings. So it's like It wouldn't matter to him.
Well, I disagree, and the reason I disagree is twofold. Number one, yes, you're right, there are other organizations that claim the name that aren't the real 10 rings. This actually benefits him, of course, but what doesn't benefit him is having his actual 10 rings people being detained, or possibly being detained, because that's still a net negative for him. I'm talking about his status quo currently is people are so fucking misinformed about us that they don't even know who the real we is, right? That one of his people being captured or recorded or seen in any way, that's a risk. So again, it's about risk mitigation.
Not necessarily, because I think an easy counter to this would be like, okay, let's say they get detained. He could just have a decoy point. Like, let's say they force information out of them or whatever. They could just have a decoy compound that they send people to.
Yeah, no, sure. He could have all of that, but you would, of course, I feel, have to concede that the preferable thing is not having to use that decoy, right? Like, you would prefer none of this to happen. So I'm talking about...
Not necessarily. Well, if anything, it would be better for him.
Better how?
Because if they think they just took down a 10 rings compound, then they think they won, but they actually didn't, then that takes a bit of heat off.
Yeah, but he lost the decoy, right? So it's not as though this is a pure net gain.
Who's to say that matters?
Well, I assume it matters because there's a limited amount of material in existence. So one less decoy is one more decoy you could have had, right?
Yeah, but it's like if I had a fucking bag of 1,000 Skittles, and I take a risk leaving it out because a fucking toddler might eat 10 of them. It's like, okay, I still got fucking 990 other Skittles.
Yeah, but like my point is just it's very fundamental, right? You would agree that losing those 10 Skittles is it's strictly worse than retaining all the Skittles.
Not if it's necessarily not that inconvenient to me. It's like if it's just like, okay, whatever.
Well, yeah, the attitude can be whatever, but it's still worse than like this is. I get what you're saying with it's a matter of personal stake, right? But it is worse, so you would prefer to avoid that scenario.
Not necessarily.
Well, I feel like if it's like a negligible amount, it wouldn't really matter at that point.
I mean, it would be a loss, but a gain at the same time, because if they think they got a win on the 10 rings and they really didn't, then that would be a good thing for him.
Well, no, I'm not disputing that aspect of it is a good thing. I'm just saying that for this to function, we have to, number one, give the movie the benefit of the doubt on he has all these decoys, which, okay, that's not unreasonable. Just to be clear, I'm with you. He probably has decoys. That's fair. We have to give it the benefit of the doubt that he has so many of them that he doesn't care if one of them gets exposed. We have to give it the benefit of the doubt on the fact that to start, nobody got exposed in this whole scenario. So that's
well, he's like what, a
lucky.
billionaire? Like a simple warehouse wouldn't be much to him.
Well, yeah, like if the cops found it, it'd be like, oh, like it doesn't really do anything at that point to him.
Well, yeah, but
and again, it would be a net loss and it would be basically breaking even.
Well, yeah, but then the cops also aren't complete idiots, and this is a world where there's people like superheroes, or with incredible technologies that could probably, it's not. Again, the risk I feel here is such that you would prefer strictly if they conducted this in a different manner. Like, so that's still, I feel, a valid criticism of the MO of these particular goons, and the fact that isn't.
I mean, it's not like
in the movie leaves me wanting for more.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? It's not like he, because I feel like it would basically come down to if they do this, then he would kill them or fire them or whatever, which I don't think he would, especially if no consequences came from it, right? But the thing would be, like, let's say he told them, okay, find him, take the thing, do what you have to do, preferably do it secretly. Like, because there's no telling if he said that or not. But if they're following him, they see him on the bus, and they say to themselves, okay, it's fucking, there's 3 of us, there's 1 of him. We can easily take this pendant right now, get the job done, get out of here. So I just don't see.
I suppose I guess maybe it'd be helpful if I articulated my preferred remedy for this issue, such that I no longer have it. If we're to believe that everything you're describing is true, and it's it's an isolated incident of failure, what I really would want is a scene that addresses that. I would want Wenwu to speak with Razorfist or his goons, where he chews them out, in effect, or at least that it's alluded to that he chewed them out at some point. The film doesn't really give us anything on that front, which I believe leads me to.
Well,
let
me ask you something.
Okay, yeah, hit me with it.
If I have a goal, right? Let's say I'm a business owner, and I have a goal of making. Reaching a certain amount of profit, or let's say I'm a car dealer. More like, I feel like this fits better.
Sure.
Let's say I want to get a car sold, but I don't want to get it sold at this location, right? Or I would. It doesn't matter, like, because I have multiple dealerships around the area. Let's say one of my salespeople fail on a deal because they didn't handle it the best way. Then you send them to the preferred dealership or one of the other dealerships anyway. And they didn't really fail because you got what you wanted anyway. So I don't think there necessarily needs to be a chewing out.
Sure, but in that analogy, then it's a case of getting into the mind of Wenwu. This seems a person who is very careful, very efficiency driven, and to the exclusion of obviously anything that concerns his wife is going to be different. So I'm just saying those characteristics, obviously, I'm happy to grant him in those instances. But otherwise, he seems very fucking hell, I'm trying to reach for the analogy. Whatever, he seems very efficient. People who do not, and we've already established that it's to a point where if his son falls short of his martial expectation, he wouldn't care if he's killed. I feel if random goons fucked up this bad, and when I say this bad, I still am stuck on the point of, guys, the way you conducted this makes no fucking sense. I still feel that should at least be somewhat addressed, and it isn't. Now, I agree with you what you're saying. Eventually, he gets what he wants, so it works out for him. But let's not pretend there are zero elements of chance and things working out for him as well, right? So like, if those guys, how to say, if those guys went about it cleanly, he loses nothing, but he gains, you know, the benefit of them going about it cleanly. They didn't go about it cleanly. I feel that's still something worth addressing and reprimanding them for. To say nothing of the fact that, incidentally, the attack in Macau, that is still very public. Like, they're fighting on a skyscraper with bamboo everywhere. People fall down, like, and it's presumably in a city where the nightlife is going to be extensive. People will notice that.
Well, I mean, they died.
Yeah. So all the more reason they'll find the corpses, right? People will start asking questions.
Yeah, they find the corpses, then what?
Take prints, do forensics, look into it.
What do they get from that?
Information on the individuals, possible past associations, stuff that could lead, conceivably, you know, imminently, foreseeably lead them
How do we
down
know
the
they
path
have that?
went through. Well, because it's incredible. If they don't, you would surely agree that that's incredibly lucky.
I don't
Not
agree
necessarily,
with that, because I think
because they can scrub shit.
Well, not even. Well, yeah, I think the Mandarin
Look at
would be
Zemo in
smart
Civil
enough
War.
to cover that up.
I agree, yeah. Yeah, but in Civil War, it's specifically addressed, that particular aspect of it. In this film, we have to grant the movie that. I feel that's inferior. So here's a question. Actually, maybe that would, because I feel that I'm getting to the core maybe disagreement we're having here. It kind of goes back to the chat we had about the voice Colin. But so if it's not in the movie, my assumption is, well, this could go either way. It's pretty fortunate for them that it went this way. So I would extend a criticism in this case of they should have established that this is something that the Ten Rings practice. I don't baseline assume that.
Well, I feel like it comes a point where if we don't see it, we just have to assume the most logical based on how we understand the organization operates. And I feel like if they operate in the shadows, inherently that involves covering up their own tracks. I mean, they would have to if they've been at this for like thousands of years.
I mean, this would come down to any organization like this. Like, like if you have guards or some shit, right? Like, inevitably one of them's gonna die, one of them's gonna get captured. Like, that shit's gonna happen. So I feel like it would be reasonable to assume, yeah, they have contingencies for this, like such as like scrubbing their past records, having them vetted for interrogation, shit like that. Like, I'm assuming they would have shit like this.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's if we're going based off the point that the plot happens, such that then this would have to be the case for the plot to happen, therefore it's true. If that's the logic train we're on, I completely agree. But my logic train is the movie, you know, I grant the movie this because the plot obviously happened, so these things probably have to be true. But it's my criticism of the screenwriters that they didn't include a scene that explains this. Because from my perspective... Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like a problem with that, though, is it adds really nothing to the story other than a question, like a confirmation. I feel like that just ruins the pacing of the general, you know, thing that they're trying to do. So I think if it's a reasonable assumption that the audience can make, then you don't need to waste time confirming something.
I guess for an example, because you brought up Zemo from Civil War, right, and how he has a very like compounded plan to like break in and get shit done, get information. Would you say we necessarily need a scene to explain how Zemo might have been able to manipulate his ID to get into the what is it, to be the psychiatrist?
Yeah,
and, like,
I know what you mean. Yeah. Glad you brought that up. I love Civil War. I would actually leverage that criticism. Yeah, I feel that because we see a lot of the way Civil War is structured pace-wise, and this addresses kind of the valid, you know, point of Colin raises about maintaining pacing in a story. The art of writing well, in my perspective, is inserting these moments such that they don't, you know, break what's happening. The way Civil War is structured is we have our A plot with Steve and Tony for the first two acts, right? And then we have our B plot following Zemo and everything he gets up to, right? And in those scenes, they will often visually or explicitly communicate the way he gets around and what he's doing. the fact that we don't really have an explicit answer, at least to the best of my recollection, to how he managed to fake something like that, yeah, I would raise that as a criticism against Civil War. I feel that there should have been a scene where, well, there is kind of an illusion. I think, don't we see the psychiatrist's corpse when he's at the hotel?
We see that he has the psychiatrist's
Yeah,
ID and stuff. And he
I would just
changes it.
assume he had like a fake ID and he messed with the system, which we know it's within his technical
Skill set.
capability.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
'cause
he was
an
a Black
infiltrator.
Ops.
Yeah, he was a Black Ops guy. It's kind of like well, does Batman have a device to possibly hack into people's codes and stuff like that? You know, it's kind of like that where it's like it's just part of his profession. I think it's logical that to assume that this character would have that or would have that skill set.
Yeah, if I would use so if I would use an analogy here, when I watch a film, because again, yeah, obviously you don't need to address everything. And by the way, what I'm proposing isn't Shang-Chi has to like fucking OG comic style go like, my god, these goons must have had their ID scrubbed, stuff like that. No, what I'm saying is we can have again like. If the movie was structured differently, or even when we meet Wenwu, right, like we do his introduction scene, we can have him behind a big old desk and he's inducting some people and he's doing their record scrubbing, right? And then I'm like, that's how that happened, right? And in my opinion, that's a strict improvement. Not having that is a strict detriment because it leaves it leaves open questions. And I think the art of storytelling is leaving as few open questions as possible. Obviously, room can be left open for ambivalent, plot points and endings for theorizing, such as, say, the end of Inception is very ambivalent, right? But
well, my thing about it would be like, let's say you have a situation where Batman needs to break into an armed facility or whatever. They have a bunch of security cameras everywhere. They have security doors, fingerprint recognition. If it's established that Batman beforehand has that kind of technology, and the movie doesn't show us, like for Dark Knight, for example, right? Let's say we don't have the scene of Batman gliding in to what's it called, to the office where he steals the Chinese guy. Yeah. Let's say we don't have that scene and it just happens. Batman just flies in. Would you say that the movie needed a scene showing how he was able to fly in, or would you just be like, okay, yeah, I can probably guess how he got there?
And we're asking from like a logistical standpoint. Obviously, it's better in the movie that they show it because we get a nice
cool action scene.
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of hard to speak to this because it's going to be a question of degrees for each person. Would I say that I would, after watching it many times, would I say that I would prefer to have a scene like that? I would say probably yes, but again, it's a question of how much this happens, right? But yeah, no, in general, I would say anything that happens in a movie from like a causal chain standpoint that leaves me asking like, hang on, there's this, and this that could, go wrong. Why isn't it going wrong, right? I would say, so this comes down to it comes down to good old lady luck, really, doesn't it? It's like, we can rely on luck and we accept as part of a story even happening that there will be elements of chance, right? My desire or my request from the storyteller is that he explains, or, in a variety of different ways the movies can, why elements of chance aren't routinely coming up to bail outside of everything, because I'm sure you'd agree, like, what's like a shit movie we can all agree on?
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, yeah. Well, I actually haven't seen that one recently, but like, have you guys seen? I assume you guys have seen like, what's your guys' opinion on BVS? Batman vs. Superman. I assume.
Yeah, it's bad. I haven't watched it in a while though.
Yeah. Or like actually Winter Soldier. We were discussing Winter Soldier. I assume you guys both.
I don't think Colin's caught up on the problems of Winter Soldier.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't watched that movie in years,
well,
but SK might be able to do something with you.
Yeah, well, it's fine. Let's stick with BVS then. Like, BVS has so many moments. Like, Martha is a famous one, right? Where it's like, even though you established, like, kind of established this, it's like, what the fuck? Like, this is what changes his mind? Really? And the fact that, he said that specific thing at that specific time instead of saying it at the start of the fight. So that's like, okay, great. So now you've ruined this to the point where every single time the element of chance could have just been Superman saying Martha's name, and presumably the fight stops. That's fucking idiotic.
I wouldn't even say that's the problem with this scene. I feel like my biggest issue with that is the fact that Bruce should absolutely know Clark's Superman,
yeah.
And he should know that he has a mother.
Yeah,
and
presumably.
So it's just like, what? This is the realization we come to? Okay.
Yeah. No, but I'm just using that as a, that is one issue. Now, you're correct. There's 1,000 other fucking issues that I would levy before that, because that movie is dog water. But, like, so that's kind of where I'm at with, and maybe, because I'll have to get going in a bit, but if you have a longer chat about Shang-Chi in the future and, like, anything, this is kind of my foundational base for what I think makes good storytelling, is how much does... you can call it luck, you can call it plot, you can call it contrivance, in some instances you can call it plot holes. How much does it come to interfere to save our characters? I feel that in Wenwu's case, and with these guys and the corpses, again, you're right, and this is why I would say this is far, far, far less severe than, like, some other contrivances, because, again, they don't exist in a vacuum, right? Like, every contrivance is as bad as another. But I would still say that that is something that me as a viewer, it chips away at that suspension of disbelief. And then there's other things in the film that happen that chip away at it as well. And eventually I'm just like, some of this is hard for me to pass out. Like,
I mean, I disagree with the Shang-Chi examples you provided. I understand where you're coming from. I think if it's a reasonable assumption based on what we know about the world, characters, and, like, actually, yeah, just the world and the characters, pretty much. Then it would be like, if you can make a reasonable assumption and they move along without fully confirming or fully addressing something that's not answered, and you can make a reasonable assumption as to why that thing happens, then I'm just like, okay, it's whatever.
Sure, but, like, so, and then my response to that would be, hey, that's fine. In terms of enjoying the film, that, I know, and I'm familiar, a lot of people, my own partner included, fucking love Shang-Chi. For me personally, it's just, I remember films where I feel the writing in these specific areas was a lot tighter. And again, Shang-Chi, fine. I think it's, again, I'd say it's like a 5 for me. It's a pretty fine film. Definitely a best of Phase 4, but it's hard for me in retrospect to look at this film and see, the writing here seems, however slightly weaker than what we had in some of the previous films, and then we know where we're at now with the MCU, and it's like,
Ooh.
I feel more people should have been calling this out. That said, these issues precede even Shang-Chi, obviously. Shang-Chi isn't, like, what started this trend, right? I'm not postulating that, just to be clear.
Alright.
Yeah, I understand that.
Alright, thanks for coming on. If that's everything.
That's probably all I have for now. But yeah, you guys stay safe, right? Have a good one.
Sure.
Yeah, you too. Have a good one.
See.
Boy.
Okay, I know what you want.
know. Hey, what's up?
Hello.
Hello.
Alright,
What
so
is the disagreement?
yeah, so I saw the Boys season finale, and nobody's really been talking about it. They've just been talking about Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, my thoughts on it are the same as like the season as a whole. Like, it took a long time. It took a long time to get to where they wanted to get, and I felt like at the end of season 3, we could have had, like, season 4 could have potentially been the final season. Like, that could have been the season where Homelander really lets loose. But we don't really get that a whole lot this season. But I wanted to talk about like a couple episodes back, we talked about the handling of Huey's sexual assault, and I wanted to bring that back up because the 2 episodes that happened after episode 6, it didn't really handle it well at all. I want to see, and I'm curious to see if you guys still stand by what you guys said for episode 6, or regarding like Huey's sexual assault, and if it's been handled better or worse.
I'd say worse after this episode. Much worse.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
I think it's still fine for episode 6, but episode 8 has a problem with it.
Yeah, because...
Yeah, to be clear, I'm blaming episode 8.
Okay. Yeah, because Huey gets... He gets... I'm just going to say, he gets raped around 20 times, and Starlight just blames Huey for getting raped, or for not noticing, even though it's made clear to her the shapeshifter can absorb memories.
We agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that everything?
Well, you also pointed out. Well, SK also added me in the Discord about the Frenchie and Kimiko.
I had to see the
getting back
reaction because
together.
I'm like, oh, we had this conversation.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but again, like I feel that kind of proves what like that justifies what I said in hindsight, because the whole relationship with Colin was just kind of pointless, don't you think?
No.
I
You don't
feel
think
there was
so?
a point
No,
to it,
because in order for their relationship to progress to where it is by the end of the season, they both had to go through something individually.
Yeah, but the writers completely invalidated the whole relationship with Colin and just had Frenchie go back to Kimiko. It just made that whole side plot even less relevant and more redundant than it
It's
already
still
was.
not. I mean, I'd still just use the same thing I said before. Colin was not supposed to be that important of a character. He was supposed to be a side character that was a catalyst for Frenchie's character work. They don't spend too much time on him, and even when they do spend time with him and Frenchie, the purpose of it is for Frenchie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my whole thing is that Frenchie's whole arc this season is being torn over hooking up with a guy whose family he murdered, so they break
No.
up with no after effects.
Nope.
And he just goes back to Kimiko.
Nope. That's
So
not
really,
his arc.
what the fuck was the
Not
point
his
of
arc.
that besides being
That's-
filler and an excuse to not develop Frenchie and Kimiko's relationship
That's
throughout
not
this
his
season?
arc. I mean, I just explained. They both had to grow individually before they could reach a point where their relationship to progress, where they could figure out, okay, yeah, this could work out. And the reason for that is what's said in episode 8. Kimiko is like, I wanted you to be with someone else because I didn't think I was the best person for you. And then, Frenchie replies back with, there is no one better than you. But the purpose of Frenchie even being in that relationship with Colin to begin with was supposed to be like, it wasn't supposed to be this big thing that was gonna be the end goal of like, yeah, him and Kimiko are not gonna be together, it's him and this guy, because that's clearly not what the season was going for, judging by episode 8. I think if anything, episode 8 compounds on what I was saying with, yeah, Colin wasn't supposed to be this important of a character. It was a catalyst for Frenchie's growth individually, so that him and Kimiko can, reach a point where the relationship can work.
Okay. Yeah, and I understand the show is trying to do that, but it just still comes across as pointless filler. And they could have just... I felt like they could have just gone to the point where they're at in the season finale by just merely talking to each other more.
What do you mean?
Like, they could have just communicated their feelings towards each other more clearly, and they would have just been together.
But that's not how relationships always go, or conversations always go, or interactions with people go.
I mean,
people
not
aren't always-
necessarily. Like, people
What?
talk through their feelings all the time.
I agree, but that's not how it has to be. Frenchie turned himself in because he wanted to atone for the sins of his past, and he wound up forgiving himself. And in forgiving himself for that, he was comfortable with being with Kimiko.
Okay, I guess we just disagree.
I mean, the whole reason they split up in season 3 was something that had to do with Frenchie's past coming back to him. And then once he gives himself for that, then it works. So I just don't see how it doesn't.
Yeah, I'm not saying that you can't use his past as a sort of like way of causing friction within the relationship, but again, did it really have to be this way? Like, did this really have to be the conflict? Like, introducing like a cardboard cutout of a character, having us follow that relationship for that long, and only for it to just not matter by the end of the season.
But it does matter. The
Not-
character
well-
work that they do with Frenchie does matter. You're hung up on the relationship, which doesn't matter, right? In the grand scheme of the season overall, the point of that relationship is for Frenchie's character, not the relationship itself.
Right, but it still takes up time, and
It takes up time doing character work for Frenchie.
And Kimiko, and it's supposed to justify the pairing between those two. And it would have been better if we had gone more time with both of them. Like, do you see where I'm going with this? Instead of Colin.
I don't see why it would be better or worse.
Because we get more, because the relationship between those two becomes more fleshed out instead of this fake one that's just in there for
The
purely for
relationship's
Frenchie's
already fleshed
characterization.
out. This season they grew individually and then came back together. I don't see what the issue with that is.
Okay. I then again, I guess we just disagree.
Okay.
Quick question, Jack. On my feed, I randomly saw a scene from Falcon and Winter Soldier where Bucky and Sam are doing a cookout. Is that your favorite scene in the show? By any chance?
Oh, definitely. And I also saw a tweet, like making a joke saying that after that scene they fired all the Black Riders after the writer's strike, and that's pretty accurate too.
Oh my god. Fire all them.
All right. If that's
All right,
everything.
later.
Yep. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right.
I'm gonna
Jack
put,
Kairito.
but real quick, Mert also has a Shang-Chi disagreement and has been asking me for a while, so shit, wrong channel.
Okay.
I'll just let them both in. I'll let them both in. Mert and Jack Kairito.
Oh wait, why do you have me with this guy? Is there?
Because he also has a
Because
Shang-Chi
you need
disagreement.
backup.
Yeah,
'Cause
you need backup. You need
You
it.
said- I need it. No. I
Based
don't.
on what we've seen from you already, yeah.
Yeah, you
I
need
think
backup
you do.
based on what we've seen.
I think you do.
I hate you. I hate you. Based on what's established.
No,
I don't know
yeah,
who
can
this
we
is.
can we talk about why Doctor Strange wasn't overpowered by the Ten Rings? Can we talk about that?
Why wasn't he? Why wasn't he?
Why should he?
I
be?
haven't. No. Oh no. Okay. So there's another. I found. Not even I found. There's another thing that I completely forgot to mention. When we
No, just
talked
run with it. First flaw you want to mention.
Earlier,
Let's
right?
go.
So like. Hold on, my Discord is bugging. Can you hear me still?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know why. So I don't know the rules about like the bamboo like coming together and shit are really weird. So
that's a
the
new
first
one.
time we encounter the first time that we encounter it, right? He's in a car or some truck, whatever, right? He has to like save his own life. The car fucking goes off the cliff. But then he's just able to walk in without transportation. Like this is the beginning of the movie, right? He's just able to walk in after that whole bamboo shifting thing. And that's how he meets Lee. I'm really confused as to like what. So if someone can just walk in, what's the point of having?
We didn't walk in the village, right?
Hmm.
He didn't actually walk in the village, right?
Not in the village itself, but like the when he meets Lee. Well, like. I wish I don't feel like screen sharing just because like my computer's fucking shit right now. But literally, that's what happens. So like you remember like. He's in the fucking car, and then the bamboo starts shifting, and then he has to save himself.
Well, I
get out
thought
of
the
car.
implication was he stayed in the pocket until he was at the end. I thought the implication is that he stayed in the pocket till it was the end.
No, but like if there's like a, I'm just confused because if there's like phases to it, right? Where they can just wait for it to not move, and then suddenly it just stops moving, and anyone can just walk in. What's the fucking point in having the?
So that phase is
having
extremely
having
hard
the
to
bamboo
figure
shifting.
out.
No, but like I don't know. I think that's just a because that's like their main. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, that is essentially their main form of security. I would assume. Like Lee is essentially just backup. Like that's how I view it. And then I don't. I just like. Okay, that maybe that's like not like the biggest problem, but I think.
Why don't we get into the world building?
Well, the bamboo would be plan A, Lee would be plan B, and then their whole army would be plan C.
I don't. I just.
Or defense A, B, and C.
Because then we see just like, he's just able to walk in every single time now, to go on dates with the league. So it's just like,
What?
is he just getting lucky, or is he?
How do you know he didn't stay there with her for a while? What?
I don't. I thought. Wait, am I bugging? I thought it was just like multiple days. He meets up with her. It's not like they just met on that singular encounter, and then they just jump straight into to getting busy. Like I'm like, I assume it's multiple dates around that specific area where they met.
Yeah, but what if he wanted to like stay there? You don't have to date to stay in the same location.
Oh, but well, you don't think he went home? Like he has a whole army to attend.
That
to,
is a
whole
home.
organization to attend to. What?
Isn't that a home in itself?
He would see this as more. He would see this as more of a priority. And even if he did go home, how do we know that Yingling didn't just help him through?
Wait, how would she help him through?
Well, because she presumably knows how to navigate this place, right?
Yeah. She literally,
if Batman
she
knows how to
literally has
navigate the
the.
Batcave, then presumably he'd be able to
Are
get
you
people in and
suggesting,
out.
Because are you suggesting that's like there's like shortcuts or something?
Oh, I'm not suggesting.
Oh, you're saying. Oh my god, you know what I'm. Stop. That's not funny. I'm having a bad day too. Shut the like stop. But yeah, that's what you're saying, right? I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, okay, sure.
I mean, just think of it this way: Batman knows how to use Batman knows how to get people in and out of his Batcave.
Yeah.
But yeah, what about the world building?
Can you stop, bro? We don't need to talk.
Is the world building? I'm asking, is it bad or not?
I saw your tweets. I still think like, I still don't think the Red Room. I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with you, like, because it is secret. But I don't know. Okay, can you explain again why the 10 rings wouldn't be able to have people inside the Hydra for like, not, I mean, during World War whatever.
World War II? No, I can give a pretty good reason why they wouldn't interfere. Firstly, Hydra doesn't actually go against their goals at that point in time. But also, why not let America and Germany duke it out? Why not sit that out?
Because they have a. Can you hear me? Fuck it.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, it's my computer. Because we see, I mean, it does, like, again, when we wants the world, right? I mean, I don't, I feel like, and at that point in time, like, the most powerful, like, in terms of the faction that has, like, the most powerful tech, most powerful weapons is Hydra, so I feel like maybe they don't want to share at that point, maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so you have to go all the way to Germany, and what, strike a deal?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, they go to Germany, they offer a deal, they say no, fuck off. What then?
If Hydra says fuck off?
Yes.
Okay, well, or like, that's why I'm suggesting maybe just do it like, just literally have spy. Like, you don't, like, don't make it known that you're the fucking 10 rings.
Okay, so how do you, an organization that's largely based in Asia, how are you gonna sneak in to Germany?
I wouldn't even say that. I wouldn't even say that as a defense.
Didn't
I would say.
Just get a white guy.
No, I would say that Hydra is a very secretive organization within itself. So I don't know how easy it would be for them. I wouldn't know how easy it would be for them to sneak in, given the fact that I don't think they would be accepting very many new members.
That would be my primary defense. I just think that one was funny to front load with.
Well, you gotta remember. Well, another thing you gotta hold on. Another thing you gotta take into account is Hydra itself isn't even all of Germany at that point. It's just a part of it within their military.
I don't know, like, are you suggesting they would like recognize if someone isn't be there? Is that what you're? kind of saying.
Well, I mean,
No,
you
I'm
have to be
saying they
registered.
I'm saying they wouldn't just be letting random people into their organization like that.
And
I'm assuming
doesn't-
they would have already had it established before the war even begun.
And I'm gonna add to this as well. And yeah, maybe it is possible that they can do it. There's also a risk. What reason is there to take a risk? Because Hydra doesn't actually go against their goals.
Is there like, yeah, this might sound stupid, but like, is there like a specific established goal for? I thought it was just simply control, right? For Hydra.
Okay. I mean, a lot of
what?
countries want control. That doesn't mean they're gonna go to other territories that they're not interested in.
No, but I'm just saying like, cause the Ten Rings specifically, they like, and Wenwu specifically, they want like world.
Yeah, but
power.
all right, let's run with that. Actually, let's run with that, right? Let's say Wenwu knows they want to take over the world. They don't have a deal, right? Why would Wenwu not just wait to see how the war ends before he implicates himself in it?
And they lose.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I'm just like, okay.
Okay.
Alright, next world building issue.
No, okay, no, I thought
What do you mean,
about
no?
it after. No.
Okay.
I'm asking you.
Do we know if, hold on, 'cause I wonder, do we know if like did sorcerers exist before the ancient one?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't know. Cuz I mean you don't think someone with the 10 like those rings could be a sorcerer? You don't think so?
No.
Okay, let's say they get teleported elsewhere, what then?
What's stopping the ancient one, for example, or someone? I'm assuming there's other ancient ones like Sorcerer Supremes that would be of her level of power throughout the course of history. What's stopping them from sending Wenwu to the mirror dimension?
Listen.
What's stopping them?
Listen, Pippin. If Spider-Man can beat Doctor Strange,
That's a
I'm
problem in the movie.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's infamous plot armor. We gotta use plot armor to justify a criticism.
I needed to make.
Also, No Way Home came out after Shang-Chi.
That's true,
so-
yeah.
Shit. Wait, like how? Why that logic? Why doesn't Doctor Strange just teleport Thanos all the time? What the fuck? Am I stupid?
I don't know.
I mean, Thanos
Infinity
has a
Stone.
portal on him, so like, what do you want him to do at that point? He'll just come back.
Oh yeah.
Well, their goal isn't even to teleport him away because they want to get the gauntlet off of him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And also, that's not even related to what we said. We're saying Wenwu would have accounted for the fact that the sorcerers have tons of capabilities.
We already discussed this. You know what? I'll say it again, bro. I can see.
So there's no world building issues.
As of yeah, no, I don't think so anymore.
You don't think so? Okay.
Unless I think of something off. I think of something off screen, bro. Off screen.
Do you think the bus crash is Shang-Chi's fault at the beginning?
Cause okay, let me like remember how it actually plays out. Cause.
Well, I'm just asking. Like,
no, I don't think.
I'm
so.
just trying to find out. Like, what would be your next point?
Oh wait, okay, cause I remember this. Okay, so do you think you don't think it's dumb that like he sends a guy Wenwu sends a guy with this arm?
Why would be that? Why would that be dumb?
If he wants Sean alive.
He knows he can beat him. This is fodder to Shang-Chi.
I mean,
If I were to send 6 Penguin Goons against Batman, I would assume he'd win.
I mean, but you're not talking from the perspective of Penguin. You're talking from the perspective of yourself.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of
let's
like
talk
Arkham
about
Knight.
what about the
Didn't even
perspective
know.
of someone who trained Batman?
Well, hold on. It's kind of like Jason Todd in Arkham Knight. He knows most of
Okay,
his
maybe I
men
should
won't
start
actually win. They're just there to slow him down.
I don't, because the way I thought about it was like, if you want to, like, if Sean isn't willingly going to meet up with you, but you still want him alive, right?
The point of that encounter is to get him to his sister. It's to motivate him to go to her.
But I mean, you mean to his sister, right?
Yes, it draws him to his sister.
But but why though? Doesn't he already know like where she is anyways?
Just to get them both together to make his job easier.
Mm-hmm. And to test them both at the same time.
Thinking, like,
That too.
Because in my head I'm thinking like, what if you just send a bunch of guys with like, what's the fucking word?
Why not do it all in
like
one
you-
location
like-
if you're sending a bunch of guys
like-
anyway?
Like, not the fucking what's the tranks there, tranquilizers, right?
No, he wants
If
to
you want
test
him,
them.
like,
You don't trank people you're trying to test.
Why doesn't Ra's al Ghul tranquilize Batman?
Bro, okay. Is that made okay? Yeah, this is more of a question. Is that made explicit?
That he thinks.
Yes, it's explicit.
Because I thought the ultimate goal is just to have him and his sister together. Like that's the ultimate goal at this point, so that they
That's
can.
one of his goals. But I think him saying, "I set my men after you," he didn't say not to kill him. I knew they wouldn't be able to kill you. Is very much so a test of Shang-Chi's abilities.
Okay.
And the fact that he punished him throughout the entirety of training if he ever fucked up when he was a kid.
Does Wenwu have any way of? Again, this is more of a question. Does he have any way of knowing that Sean is, he still has the ability, like he's still a good enough fighter to?
Yeah, he's been keeping tabs on him.
Okay.
All right. Is that everything?
No, I know. I'm thinking.
Yeah, just look at the next point on your doc. Yeah.
Go watch Matt Vickett's video again if you have to.
No. I'm not. I don't do that. I've never done that.
That's interesting because all your points sound eerily similar to that video.
No. Okay. Have you? I always thought. No, I actually always thought like the Lee stuff, that the conversation I had with SK about like the Lee, like okay,
Morton Lee?
How does she fall? How does she find Wenwu attractive as like as a
Because he was willing to give up his entire crusade to conquer everything when he found out he was capable of love. Why would you not take advantage of that when you know that's the catalyst for him dropping his crusade?
But she only knows that after, like, why, like in their first encounter.
Yeah, but she's still going to know that he's into her.
Wait, what? Sorry,
He's still going to know that he has interest in her throughout the process.
Because like she has a chance. Because ultimately, like, okay, so he's like he invades. He attempts to evade her home, and like.
And then she gets him to stop.
Like, I feel like most people would just their instinct, their natural instinct. If someone is if someone is breaking into your house, essentially. And especially since this is her job, by the way.
She overpowered him, and he gave up.
I mean, well, okay, because shut up. I hate. I hate both of you. Okay. Am I not allowed to analyze what he said?
Go
No.
for it.
Can you kill yourself?
I'm not suggesting anymore.
Did you guys already talk to this off? Off topic. Did you guys already talk to Jack Kender in here?
We did, yeah.
What was it about?
The boys, as usual.
Oh, okay. So cause she already she launches him into a tree, but then she saves him from falling. That's really funny. I don't know.
Maybe she doesn't want to kill him.
Why doesn't she want to kill him?
Why does anyone not want to
point-
kill any? Like I don't understand this.
Why
point.
doesn't
There's
Batman kill the Joker?
Shut up! Oh my God, you're so I hate you. I think you're worse. I think you're worse than SK. I think you're worse than SK. I think you're worse than SK.
You sound upset.
Yeah, I am upset. I'm furious and fast. I'm fast and furious, bro. Anyways. Yeah, no, but at that specific point, why she doesn't know him at that point. It's not like
she beat him.
It's not like she had a talk with him.
You don't understand. She beat him, so she doesn't have to kill him, from her perspective.
Well, why would you give him the chance to come back?
She didn't. He gave up, and presumably he wanted to learn more about what she was doing. He probably revealed more about who he actually was, and showed interest.
How does she know that this isn't some tactic?
Because he reveals information he wouldn't reveal if it was a tactic.
Is that just are you just assuming that, or?
He's the leader of the 10 Rings for thousands.
She knows all this information about him.
Yeah.
Well, but I thought.
Why would he reveal that information if this was a ploy?
You're saying he would have told her that on their first encounter?
Not at the first encounter, just over time.
Eventually,
she would learn.
Because I would have thought
because he'd probably get to a point where he realizes, yeah, she isn't someone who would be out to destroy me or anything like that. So he's
not even but he's also not even allowed in the village either way.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Because it'll get to a point where it's obvious, she's trying to change me, she's trying to show me a different way of living, so he'd be more open about sharing that kind of stuff. More specifically what he's doing. Or more sensitive information.
Okay, something else. Okay, I'll give you that one. That's fine. I still think I remember I mentioned this I don't know if it wasn't yesterday, it's probably 2, but the prison cells, the security camera shit, I still think it's dumb. That they don't especially it doesn't seem like they're putting priority on that specific cell, because it seems like the sword guy wasn't looking, or nobody else was looking at that point. It took them, they were shocked, that they escaped, or that I don't know, they weren't looking for a second, for some reason.
So they weren't looking for a second for some reason?
If you were a security guy, would you not get bored and stop paying attention for a second?
Well, it's not like the conversation and when
that doesn't
when
answer
she
the
breaks
question.
down the wall. No. Okay. Yes. No. Okay. I'll answer that,
so we
yes.
got the yes.
But can I hate you again. God. No, but I was gonna say the conversation that I always forget, the sister when she breaks down the wall, and then the conversation that she has with Sean, Katie, Trevor, it's not exactly that short of a conversation. You don't think people they didn't look at that, they weren't looking within that time span?
What are you talking about?
No, because when she breaks down the wall, right? That's how they escape.
Yeah.
It's not like they meet. They don't leave immediately. They have a conversation. I forgot what it's about specifically, but like they have a lengthy enough conversation to where someone should have probably noticed that the wall was broken down, and then like
What do you mean? She breaks down the wall right there in that moment.
What?
And then as soon as she breaks down the wall, they leave.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
You want a screen share?
Can I call it? I guess my computer's fucking spasms. Can you call on screen share?
Hold on. Hold on, I am.
It's not like the longest conversation. That's not what I'm saying, but I think it was just enough time to where I'm surprised that like nobody was looking, presumably. And it's like, cause she was put in a different cell, right? Yeah, that's why she would have to break down the wall. They were put in different.
No, no. They were put in one big cell.
Oh, I know. Yeah, you're right. I'm stupid. Yep.
Yeah, literally. Look. Hold on.
Nah, yeah, you're right. I misremembered.
Well,
Oopsies.
all right. Well, I'm just gonna put it up anyway.
Oh yeah, but like, yeah, for the conversation, like I said, it wasn't.
No.
Like,
Look.
they didn't
No.
leave.
No. 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 No.
Immediately.
No. Look. She breaks down the wall.
Be sure to pause in shit. Good. Alright.
Breaks down the wall. I'm gonna skip 5 seconds. They chit chat for a bit. They're gone.
What? Are you serious, bro? Oh my, there's
Yes.
no fucking way. Bro, I'm killing. Okay, yeah. Okay. No fucking way, bro. This movie sucks. Fuck you.
You haven't proven it.
This movie sucks. Bro.
You've used regurgitated points that are bad.
They're bad.
Not all of my points are. Fuck you.
No,
Can
my
I
points
can
are
I ask
full.
why Kingpin didn't take over Washington D.C. if he has everyone in his pockets?
That's a valid question. That is a valid question.
Oh my god. He has the entire world in his pockets.
Why doesn't Ra's al Ghul have Dr. Fate? Hey, why? That's a valid question. You're thinking I'm gonna change my.
Why didn't Riddler flood the country?
Because he doesn't have enough water.
No, there's water around the country. There's water around the country,
yeah.
so why didn't he do it?
No.
Yeah, he could break the seawalls.
Yeah.
He could dig a gigantic hole on the beach.
No. He's making.
He could cause a tsunami.
Yeah.
No.
He's making a.
Why didn't he flood it?
Specifically.
Why didn't he flood it?
He's making a point to Wakanda specifically. That's the point.
Wakanda? I didn't know Wakanda was in Gotham City.
Oh my god. I hate you.
All right, bro. We got another person on the line, bro.
Yeah, you not have another point?
No.
Yeah, I thought so.
Okay,
I didn't
goodbye.
even- bro, I didn't
Nah,
even think this movie
goodbye.
was bad.
Goodbye.
You're right.
Goodbye. No.
Jack Carrito.
Goodbye. Creeper, are you here?
This
Creeper.
guy thinks flashy.
Creeper.
There we go.
Okay.
Hello. So, I gotta start this with the question because I don't know what your take is. What's your opinion on John Walker? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I don't
I
care.
haven't seen it in a while.
Okay, because my point was going to be that he is like the hero of that story, and he did literally nothing wrong.
I mean, I don't. That's not really relevant to anything we've talked about. Like, you could be right, could be wrong. I don't know.
I mean, he kind of murdered one of the people in cold blood.
A terrorist?
Yeah.
Still,
I mean-
well, you still shouldn't do that. He was surrendering, and also, he could have had information.
He could have, but you also have to take into account that John Walker just lost like his best friend, so he was.
No, I agree. No, I agree. There's context for why he does it. My point is, you said there's he does
And
nothing
then
wrong.
there's
But
other
that's one
examples.
instance I can think of.
I mean, Spider-Man lost Aunt May and tries to
mean-
kill the Green Goblin. Does that make him do nothing? Does that mean he did nothing wrong?
Honestly, I don't think that it would be the worst thing if he did. I don't think that it's necessarily bad. Except in that case where Spider-Man had the ability to cure Norman. The Flag Smashers, however, they were just...
They could be
domestic
arrested and
terrorists.
taken in for questioning.
That is true, but they are super soldiers. They're not...
You can
They
arrest
locked up
super
Captain
soldiers.
America.
They don't have anybody that can really hold them.
Yes, you do.
Yeah,
they
they
showed
do.
in Civil War you can. In fact, they have power dampeners too. Well, actually, that might just apply to mutants, but it doesn't even matter. They've arrested Captain America. Hydra has done it.
I mean, he kind of broke out like instantly, though.
Yeah,
If they
because
put
it was
him,
a-
if they
yeah,
put
because
Captain
there was an
America
inside
in
person.
10 feet, if they put a super soldier in 10-foot thick square box, right? Do you think he's breaking out?
I don't think so, but I also don't think that the United States would just arrest terrorists because...
Even though they do in real life.
Nah. Okay. Not really. No, they kind of just kill them.
What do you mean? They did that with the Osama bin Laden thing when they broke
shot
in.
him.
Oh yeah, I know, but that was because he aggressed. That's what you do. Like if you have a warrant and someone is trying to kill you or like points a gun at you, you have the legal obligation to shoot them. But the Flag Smasher gave up.
Yeah.
If
But-
Osama bin Laden was on his hands and knees when the U.S. military broke in, I doubt they would have shot him.
I heavily disagree with that. I think that they would have.
Yeah, what's the
think
point of
that
telling
we would-
people to put your hands up and shit like that?
Yeah.
They do that so that they don't die usually. Because, I mean, you want assurance if you're like a soldier walking in, but...
You can just
I
shoot
think
straight
that-
away if you want that insurance.
Yeah, you
Do I think that it was the best choice for John Walker to kill him? No. I think he probably, if he was going to kill him, he shouldn't have done it in a super public spot, but I don't think that it's worth...
Boy, why does it matter if
all
it's
the-
public or not? He still killed someone when they were giving up.
Hey, man. People do that shit all the time. Captain America didn't give anybody else any chance to surrender.
Are you saying killing is
Banner
also
doesn't
part of
kill
life?
people when they're like they're surrendering. He just kills people in battle.
Not in the beginning of the Winter Soldier movie. He kind of just kills people immediately.
Yes, they're active threats.
Before they even know he's there.
They're still active threats.
Who knows, man? They could have surrendered. But the other
They're
point
still
that I
active
have
threats.
is...
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
It's also it's supposed to be a stealth mission as well.
Yeah. Where there's
So why would
lives
you
on
risk-
the line.
why would
He
you-
could have incapacitated them and not murdered them.
Okay, but they could. I'm pretty sure in the what's it called?
If they
in the
wake
sequence-
up, then that destroys his mission.
Yeah, there's only one point. I think the only point where he like confirm kills someone, like you're just like, yeah, that guy's fucking dead, is when he kicks the one guy off the boat, and I think he was about to face him to shoot him.
I can't exactly remember if that one in particular, if he was going to shoot him.
Well, I haven't watched it in a while either, but I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
The other thing is John Walker, he tries to defuse the situation with the Dora Milaje. He literally tries to make it
We're
more
not talking
calm,
about that.
And they...
We're not talking about
that's,
that.
That's one of my other... That's
Well,
one of
I
my-
don't care about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. It sucks. You're not going to see me defending it.
Okay. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is with like legacy heroes specifically. Do you think that they should operate with the same name and the same city at the
I don't see a problem with it.
I think that it's just a little bit awkward. Not with Miles Morales specifically. That one, I'm tired of people arguing that. But like the Flash, because Wally West operates in Central City along with Barry Allen at the same time.
Well, I thought they were in 2 different cities. What?
Not ever since Wally West came back in like 20 whatever year he came back in. I don't remember.
Well, I don't read their comics, but from what I'm familiar with, I think they generally do work in different cities. And even if they don't, I just don't see the issue.
It's just, I don't know. It's weird when they do that because Wally and Barry also wear near identical costumes as well. And the public knows that there's 2 different Flashes. And it's just, you know. I think that it'd be better if they operated in different cities. Or if they operate in the same city with different names. Only hero that does the same thing that I think is not bad is Green Lantern, because it's not an alias, it's his literal job, because they're a police force. With Flash and Spider-Man, I think it's a little bit awkward. And I don't believe anything like that happens with the Robins. I don't think that they ever operate at the same time as Robin. Other than maybe Tim Drake.
I don't know. I don't have much of a. I don't really care about to be honest. Just. If you were to think that, go ahead. I just don't have much energy to argue about that.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. You can drag the other guy in.
Okay. Thank you for coming on.
Alright, see you later.
Yep. See ya.
Alright.
Blake
Detective Charlie Hoffman.
You're on the line. What's the disagreement? Tell us why.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No.
You can hear me?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. So my disagreement is actually on Days of Future Past.
Okay.
So, I don't know if somebody else already brought this to you. Technically, how it should have ended, already said it like 10 years ago, but why didn't they bring Quicksilver to help with
it's a problem.
the
Yeah, it's a
situation?
Agreement day.
Damn. Right. Okay, well, there was a second one I had prepared, and that's related to Across the Spider-Verse. And I'd start by saying, so do you remember way back when you had the SK, do you remember the debate with Last Gambit about Spectacular Spider-Man? You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jonah Jameson, he was like tied to the wall of a collapsing building.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Gwen does that to her dad in Across the Spider-Verse.
Her dad was actively intervening and doesn't intend to leave. Jameson would.
Also, it's not like the building is literally about to fucking collapse on itself, like a fucking, like the Twin Towers or some shit.
Yeah, but the Vulture is still like crashing through.
Yeah, I'd still say
like,
there's a risk, but
webbing.
Again, I would say the cop could it could distract Gwen.
I think it's a bigger risk. Well, I think it's a bigger risk to let him intervene, because if Vulture starts attacking him, then not only does she have to deal with that, which is a distraction, but also he could get himself killed.
And he's not trying to leave.
Okay, I guess. Yeah, I just, when I saw that, I was just thinking, like, I don't know if that's the best choice. I mean, I guess she's in a situation where she can't just, like, throw him out the building and have him land on a web trampoline or something, so.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, that's it. Thank you for having me on, and, Freddy Faz.
Alright, goodbye.
And Freddy Faz what? I think that's all the disagreements. Do we have any more disagreements in the chat?
Dude, I was expecting some from the Black Panther stuff. What the hell?
Yeah.
With Namor.
It appears nobody wants to have that disagreement day.
Hell. Yeah, because I saw like the comments, and I'm just like, all right, there's a lot to unpack here, and then none of them showed.
I see a lot of smugness in my comments, and then people don't come on. Just confusing.
Yeah, crazy.
All right, well, if that's the end of it, if we got no more disagreements.
Sounds like the end of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I mean,
well,
I see people saying I see someone saying your take on Winter Soldier is bad.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, if you're not in the waiting room, I don't. Yeah.
We can talk about it if you want to join the weight room.
I don't.
I
Someone
disagree with
DM'd
your
me.
hairline because I cannot see it.
My disagreement is with your hairline.
Your take is bad. Damn. Homelander or Omni-Man as a villain? I think Homelander is more compelling, but I've only seen season 1 of Invincible, so that's all you'll get from me. Smokey says, we find new animal species every day. How would we know where they lived? That's a good point.
I mean, someone said I'd like to join the disagreement discussion. I told him to join the weight room.
Oh, okay, we got one more.
Can you do another Under the Mayo debunk? Yeah.
Needs to be him specifically?
I should have done either him or Synthetic Man's God of War thing when it first came out, but I don't really care to anymore. People have already done it.
Under disagreement?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Alright, so I disagree with your take on like you saying Namor is like the worst villain in the MCU. I agree he's not a good villain, but I don't know about the worst in the MCU.
Alright.
Well,
Like,
what's
why
the
do you think
worst
he's worse
one?
than like the other ones?
What other
Like
ones?
for example, like what about Taskmaster or that Russian guy from Black Widow?
I mean, what's Taskmaster do that's like... Yeah, I don't remember enough to criticize it, but like, what's Taskmaster do that's like as bad as Namor?
You mean like just boring or just as stupid?
Namor
like
is
motivations
boring and broken.
Motivations don't make or motivations and how he goes about them don't make sense. And that's like the central fucking plot of the movie. It's like his character. Whereas Taskmaster's just like a robot.
Hey, what about the girl from Falcon and Winter Soldier? I keep forgetting her name.
Carly Morgenthau?
I don't remember her enough, honestly.
I don't know how she'd be worse. I mean, I understand her motivation way more than Namor.
Okay, so Ronan from Guardians, I guess.
Still better. He's boring, but he's not broken.
And also Gore, I guess.
I don't remember.
The God. Whoa! What?
Well, compared to
I mean that movie. I mean that movie's shit. Don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like Gore wasn't even bad. He was just a missed opportunity for what they could have done more. Like, what's even wrong with Gore? Like, genuinely.
Okay, fine. Not like wrong with him. Like, just barely get to see him God budge or his plan to see eternity, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. That would have been cool to see, especially if it was in a better toned movie.
Yeah,
but I don't see what's wrong with him.
Okay, fine. Maybe it's just not wrong with him. Probably just the missed potential of him in the movie in general.
Well, from what I've heard about Namor in the comics, it is missed potential.
Yeah, it kind of is that too. Or of that villain from Thor: The Dark World. I also forgot his name.
He's probably better. I'm not gonna lie.
Actually, I don't remember jack shit about that villain, to be honest. I just remember him being like boring.
Okay. And you think Namor is worse than all of them because of how his plans?
Oh, I don't remember Malekith being broken.
And he's broken. I don't think there's a single thing about Namor that works.
Okay.
Other than the acting.
So that's why he's like. So that's why he's like the worst, because of how nothing he does works.
Nothing he does makes sense. how he goes about it doesn't make sense. And yeah, he's just boring.
All right, I can understand that.
Did he respond, SK?
Yes.
Hello? Oh, it's still on.
Yeah, we're talking about
Oh yeah.
Also, do you think like season 4, the boys like the weakest one, or is like do you think it's good?
No, I still think from unless I rewatch it and find more issues, I still think season 2 is the weakest, but still really good.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like, okay, fine. Oh, okay, I can see that.
All right, is that everything?
Yeah, it's everything for now.
All right, well, thank you for coming on.
Yep.
All right, have a good one.
You too.
All right.
Mert's back.
Hello. Mert, you're on the line.
Hold on, Spaceboy Digital. All you have to do is join the server. You don't have to add me.
I downloaded Discord on my phone. That's why I'm able to talk now, and I'm outside.
All
right. My disagreement is with Shang-Chi, and my main topic is that Sean himself, his father, friend, and sister should have died.
How so?
First, I'll give some examples to Sean. In the bus scene where the actor who plays Ivan Drago, where he cuts the laptop in half, he doesn't injure Sean at all, even though he should have been brutally injured.
Why is that?
Well, the machete is... I don't know the exact length of it, but it easily goes through the laptop and doesn't injure Sean at all, even though it should have.
Why?
Well, Sean kept his distance.
It kept his distance and the laptop obstructed his vision, so why?
Can I first give all the examples first?
Okay, I'm advocate. Sorry.
What?
Sorry.
Ironically enough, I did watch the Advocate video. That's why I have these points.
Yeah, we did too. It was bad.
It's a bad video.
Oh god. I barely made points and they already look shit.
What?
I barely made my points and they already look shit.
I mean, I think that's the problem with getting your points from someone else without substantiating them within yourself.
Okay, then what about the next one where he gets knocked out, punched into the sea for minutes on end, but survives?
Wait. All right, all right, 1 second. Can you do something for me?
What?
Can you look up the world record for someone holding their breath?
But he was knocked out.
I agree.
There's a difference.
No. If you've trained your lungs enough, it wouldn't matter if you're knocked out or not.
But he hasn't. The main thing he was trained at is martial arts.
He's a peak human. And part of that, do you not think he was trained to be an infiltrator, an assassin? So do you think not part of that training would be holding your breath if you need to?
No, especially where all the training was.
Wouldn't, if you want to be in like top condition, wouldn't swimming be a skill set to learn?
Well, it wouldn't even just be that. Like your conditioning, right? Like your endurance through your like fighting in and of itself takes a lot of oxygen out of your body and a lot of energy out of your body. So his lungs would already need to be in tip-top shape for that.
But there's the difference between someone who trains to fight and someone who trains to hold their breath underwater.
You can do both.
Also, there aren't
You can
any
do it for the purpose of fighting.
true. But there aren't any pools or deep enough water where they can train to hold their breath.
What?
Stuff like that wasn't shown in the movie. Where they
Why
train
does
to hold
that
their
Well, it's
breath.
a logical assumption to make based on what he has to do.
Wait, do you not think they have access to deep water?
It doesn't look like it based on the fact that it hasn't been shown.
I feel like that's a reasonable assumption. They have access to water.
Okay, fair enough.
I can walk down the street and go get that right now. Do you think they don't have a tub?
Not a tub, I'm seeing something like a pool.
A tub would be the same thing. Water
Well, it doesn't
is
even
water.
matter. A pool is, you can go anywhere for that.
What about the whole thing with him not
Another
going
thing-
to his wife's grave?
Well, you want to know another thing that's funny? The dragon that comes out from under the water literally puts air bubbles into his face.
That I didn't know.
You could see it coming out.
Okay. Now, what about the whole his dad not being smart enough to check his wife's grave and believing a lying
How do you know
dragon?
that? How do you know they buried her?
Well, another problem. How do you know that that's how it works? Because if we're talking about like magical resurrection, then obviously, like, yeah, the body's still going to be down there.
Okay, let's assume they burned her body and had it in a vase filled with ashes. Wouldn't he keep that near him, especially near his office?
That doesn't mean she couldn't have been resurrected. This is magic we're talking about.
Well, like, yeah, just as an example, in Doctor Strange, the Ancient One is dying. She's able to go in her astral form and talk to people from, like, long distances. And I'm not saying it works the exact same way, I'm saying it's similar. It could work that way from his perspective.
But why does he still?
And not even that,
believe
let's
the
ignore
dragon?
that too.
Wouldn't
Why
he-
not pursue it? If he thinks this is the best chance to bring his wife back, why not pursue it?
What does he lose from this, to be honest?
Yeah.
His wife.
No, he would gain his wife.
No, I mean, he still dies. That's what happens in the movie. He dies.
He didn't
from
think
the
there was a
dragon.
dragon there.
That's one of the points that I was gonna say, but I got cut off. Wouldn't his wife, throughout all the time they've been together, mention the fact that they're protecting a lying dragon that could ruin and destroy the world?
Okay.
I might agree with that. That she doesn't explain that at any point.
Well, I mean,
for some
even if she did, what's like? How would she know that that the dragon can talk to or communicate through the thingy? Because that's never happened before.
Well, what does she know about the dragon? Does she say? Is there any dialogue from her that acknowledges what exactly the dragon can do?
No, from my knowledge, no.
So if there's no dialogue, then why is that a point?
It just seems a bit off, and at points it feels like the movie
I feel like
isn't
we
as
need
well
more than
written
it
as
seems a
people
bit
think.
off.
True. Now the whole other stuff, like when Sean was fighting his dad and they were fighting for the rings, neither of them get injured, even though Sean was launched down to the ground from 80 feet from his dad. He doesn't get injured, and his dad doesn't break his legs, even though he didn't have the rings to cushion his fall. His legs should have been broken.
Well, he's enhanced. The
Well, I'm
training-
confused. What scene?
I think he's talking about how high he falls down
yeah.
on the ground.
Are you
But
talking
then-
about when he jumps off the dragon and then slides down the wall?
No. when Sean literally gets all 10 rings when his dad launches him to the ground.
Okay. I mean,
I'm
we
confused.
also know that Shang-Chi is enhanced by the training. I mean, I
Well,
feel
not,
like this
not
is
just
like
the,
questioning.
not just the training. He has literal dragon armor, like mystical dragon armor on him right now.
Well, yeah, I feel like this would be like questioning how Batman is so durable in his fights.
But the armor hasn't been established to be as durable. It's mainly used as well a weapon.
What are you talking about?
For example, in Arkham Knight, the new suit that Bruce gets, it's explained and all the materials in between it, whereas in Shang-Chi, we can't just randomly assume that you can protect your entire body. And even then, his entire body isn't protected. He's wearing normal jeans, for example.
What?
He's saying that his whole body isn't protected. He's just wearing normal jeans, and there's nothing established about the armor itself. That's what he's arguing.
Yeah, I get that part, but I'm saying he said he was wearing normal jeans. Hold on.
Normal pants or clothing other than the whole armor stuff.
I'll look it up. Shang-Chi final battle. What's he wearing?
Yeah, he's wearing pants.
And
that doesn't.
Nike.
How does that?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm looking at it.
Well, I guess what I'd ask is like, so, I mean, I would just stick with the fact that he's enhanced from the training.
But no one would be durable enough to withstand a
How do we
fall
know
from
that?
over 30 feet.
What's the fall? What is the fall? What are you talking about? When does he fall?
I think I remember
his
it.
dad launches him, punches him down.
Well, I
Right
feel
when
like
he
this is
gets
like
almost 10
I feel like
rings.
this is like asking, well, how does Silver Sable survive jumping off the helicopter from that high? It's like that they're establishing she's just that she's that capable, she's that durable.
Well,
Maybe it's
humans
not
can
like that in the
survive
real
that.
world, but like that's appeal to reality.
But she's not enhanced to the point where she has the super soldier serum and falling
What if
with
you don't need
that
it to
the way
survive
she
it?
did on her knee, it would have hurt. A roll would have at least made it hurt less.
Can you give me a reference for the scene that you're talking about? Like, what point in the movie are we talking about?
Well, I mean, Kingpin
when
doesn't have
Sean
the
gets
super
off-
soldier serum. He's able to break through walls and metal pipes.
But he still could have died with how with how little Peter was holding back.
Well, they're
You said that
establishing
yourself,
that.
didn't you?
So they're establishing that one, the physics are exaggerated in the universe, but also peak human in our world is not the same as peak human in fiction.
True.
Are you talking? Yeah. So are you talking about when the dragon drops him off and he like slides down the wall?
No. When he gets all 10 rings and charges them up, but doesn't hit his father with them. When he
Okay.
drops them.
What's your point? He forgave it. He
He falls
forgave
from
his
over-
father at that point. He was stopping the fight.
That wasn't my point. My point was he fell from over 30 feet and
Where does he
didn't get injured.
What are you? I'm so confused. Where does he fall from 30 feet and not get injured?
His dad punches him down.
He had the rings.
But it didn't look like he protected himself. Or
Shang-Chi
his
had
power
the
with them.
rings. What are you talking about?
Well, if you have the rings, I assume that you're enhanced in terms of like your capabilities in general. Isn't that what happens with Wenwu?
Yes.
Like it amps all of your capabilities. It's kind of like when Thanos puts the gauntlet on. He's clearly amped by all that stuff.
Yeah.
Batnik, when you watch Shang-Chi tonight, I want you to ask yourself why Ra's al Ghul doesn't have Dr. Fate's helmet. I just want you to ask yourself that.
Now I just feel like you're dissing me.
No, it's not.
No.
This is a joke from yesterday.
Oh, okay. The main arguments that I'd have, like, for example, how his sister is able to hold on to a thick piece of bamboo and grab Sean's friend doesn't work now, seeing as you two would just say she's peak human and whatever.
What? Her
It's
friend?
established.
Wait, no, are you talking about Katie? No, she's not peak human.
No, his sister.
I'm talking about his sister.
Yeah, why would she not be?
Because they don't allow women to train before
She's still
is the
trained.
leader. So,
She's still trained, yeah.
but not as much and secretly.
No,
She's
she
still trained.
said she did even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah, that's bullshit, but okay.
Why?
Okay. Why? Like,
This example is based on the fact that I understand martial arts, and I'm taking real-world examples where sparring is
that's
needed.
great. This isn't the
and
real world.
live resistance,
This ain't the real world.
so that you can be better in a fight.
It's not the real world.
That's why I said my argument doesn't stand as well.
Alright.
My last argument would be for Thor Ragnarok, but that's an entirely different movie.
Okay.
Should I give the example or no?
I mean, you
I don't need
can.
Thor.
I just don't remember enough. I don't know.
When Bruce falls during the end where he fights the wolf,
Yeah.
there it isn't shown that he's changing.
Okay,
His eyes aren't green.
I don't care about
and
Ragnarok.
he
Let's
isn't
just
the
stick
one.
with it. Let's just
Well,
stick
I mean,
with
I
this
can
movie.
defend that easily. The Hulk saved his life. Like what?
How? His eyes weren't green, for example.
I
There was no
don't care
indication
about
that he
Thor
was
Ragnarok.
changing.
I don't care about Ragnarok. Let's move on to
Hold on.
Shang-Chi.
I wanna. I do wanna. Hold on. Literally in Avengers 1, he doesn't care if they shoot him because the Hulk will save him. He literally says he tried to shoot himself, which would kill him, and the Hulk saved him.
I have a theory that he can die, but let's not delve off topic. I was shut down and asked if I should.
Okay.
Alright, back to Shang-Chi.
Overall, those were my points. I have nothing else to say for now.
Alright.
Alright.
Well, thanks for
So,
coming on.
next time if I... No, you can say something. I could
No, I
not.
just that was it. That was
Yeah,
just.
we're just saying thank you for coming on.
Oh, okay.
See you later.
Alright.
If I have something to disagree with next time, I'll join. See ya.
Alright, see ya. Space Boy Vaughn.
My life?
Yeah.
Okay. Omni-Man is better than, what do you call it? Whatever you said, Homelander. Omni-Man better than Homelander.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Alright. Well, I mean, that's.
Hold on.
I don't
you
really have
can't
much to
screen
say
double
for
'cause
that.
I'm listening on YouTube.
I actually have to get
Okay.
going. I just realized. So,